It is win or go home. The NBA on ESPN Radio is presented by Indeed. Hiring this year, visit Indeed.com/credit. Again, teams are 155-0 all time at a best of 7 when leading 3-0. That's the daunting task the Timberwolves face tonight. It's Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. For the call, let's send you out to our team of Ashley Shabady, Corey Alexander, and Dave Pash.
Well, Jim, it's the moment of truth for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're down to their last out, so to speak. It has to happen tonight or the summer has arrived. And no team has ever come back. Yes, I know out there you're tired of hearing it. No team has ever come back from down 3-0 in an NBA playoff series. Look, at some point, it's going to happen. Maybe the Timberwolves will be the team. But for that to happen, obviously, first things first, they have to take Game 1. And, Corey, for them to take Game 1, it feels like something good has to happen early on for Minnesota.
It seems to be that everything throughout this series has gone in favor of the Mavericks, whether it's the 50-50 balls, it's the shots hanging on the rim and going in for the Mavericks. Minnesota needs a little bit of that love, and unfortunately they have to get it on the road. It's going to be a tough task for them if they want to try to continue this series and take it back home for a Game 5. But I believe they have the mentality to make up to be able to do it here. And, of course, no Derek Lively for the Mavs helps in that fashion.
Karl Anthony Towns, though, has to be better. All-NBA player, all-star. He has not shot the ball well in the series. He is 3 for 22 from deep, was 0 for 8 in Game 3. And you look at his history, and in the playoffs prior to this postseason, he had some bad moments. But the first 2 rounds had some excellent games. In this series, though, he struggled, and you have to wonder mentally, his psyche, where he's at right now. They need him tonight.
They absolutely need him, and he needs to have a nothing-to-lose mentality going out. It seems as though Karl Anthony Towns has put so much pressure on himself, oftentimes overthinking things. I'm sure Chris Finch and their staff are simply asking him to just relax, go play basketball, and do what he's done to help them get to this point.
Now let's talk about the team that has the 3-0 lead. Reinforcements are on the way for the Dallas Mavericks. We'll get to that in a second. You touched on no Derek Lively. That combination of Lively and Gafford, I understand they're not the headliners. That's Kyrie Irving, of course, and Luka Doncic. But Dallas wouldn't be here without that. So without Lively tonight, how can Minnesota take advantage of that? What are the Mavs missing without him?
Well, they're missing rim protection. One thing for certain, when you've got Lively and Gafford, you always have a rim protector on the floor. Now, when Gafford goes to the bench, you will not have that rim protector. I think it's important for Minnesota to go at Gafford early and try to get him in foul trouble.
But with Lively out, there's room for minutes, and the guy that's going to get those minutes, Maxi Kleber, who's back with more on him and the Mavericks injury situation. Here's Ashley.
Thanks so much, Dave. That's right. Maxi Kleber hasn't played since May 3rd. He suffered a shoulder injury during the first round against the Clippers, but he was listed as questionable yesterday, upgraded to available tonight. I talked to Maxi this morning, says he is feeling good, but obviously nothing is going to be the same as actually playing in a game. But he credits the medical staff for staying diligent, getting him back for today. Told me that if Derek Lively didn't go down, the plan was for him to still come back tonight. Coach Kidd for the Mavs saying he will be on a minutes restriction just because we're not expecting him to go out there and play 30 minutes. Said we'll obviously see how the first 3-4 minutes goes for Maxi, how he looks, how he feels, his length and versatility. It's needed now more than ever, obviously, with no Derek Lively, and it definitely changes up maybe the game plan a bit for Minnesota because of Kleber's ability to shoot the 3 and stretch the 4. Coach Kidd said, we've really missed his defense as he goes under the radar as a defender. So we'll see how he looks tonight. But, guys, the atmosphere in this building is electric. I'm excited to see how the Timberwolves play and how they start things off right off the bat, knowing their backs are against the wall. Guys.
Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving each put up 33 points in Game 3. Obviously, they're the starting backcourt. Derek Jones Jr. had a big Game 3. P.J. Washington hit the go-ahead shot. Daniel Gafford in the middle. Same 5 for Minnesota. That means Mike Conley is healthy enough to go. Been battling that Achilles strain throughout this postseason. Anthony Edwards had some moments in Game 3, but Minnesota still needs more. He was 11 of 24 from the floor. Jaden McDaniel's been up and down. Rudy Gobert didn't play a ton. 29 minutes in Game 3, just 9.6 rebounds and no blocks. We'll see what kind of desperation Minnesota brings here to Game 4. The Wolves wearing all white. Dallas in the dark blue uniforms, black trim, white numbers. Gobert will jump it up with Gafford. Minnesota going left to right, Dallas right to left. The Mavericks looking to move on to their third ever NBA Finals and their first since 2011. Minnesota trying to keep its playoff hopes alive. Scott Foster, our crew chief, and Dallas wins the opening toss, and Kyrie Irving will bring it over the timeline.
And look at the early matchup. Anthony Edwards taking the assignment guarding Luka Doncic.
Instead of Jaden McDaniels, Doncic driving, stops in the lane, hits Jones at the free throw line. Kick to Doncic, right corner with the shot clock at 5. Jab step, now fires and misses. Rebound by Towns.
You see the initial adjustment, taking Michael Conley off of Kyrie Irving, who's been spectacular in this series, and putting McDaniels on him.
Edwards left baseline spinning, fires to a cutting Gobert, and a whistle and a out-of-bounds violation as Edwards stepped on the end line before the pass. McDaniels on Irving, brings it into the front court to our left. Uses the screen to his right, keeps the dribble, drives into the paint. Floater is good from 6 feet for the game's first points.
And you would think that because you drive Kyrie Irving off the three-point line, that's an advantage, but he's even better in the mid-range.
Conley to McDaniels on the left wing, lost the handle for a moment. Now puts it on the floor. Pull-up jumper, left side, good from 20 feet. And the game tied at 2 in the first minute. And a length of the floor pass too high for Gafford and intercepted by Conley, baseline left. Now to the front court, Towns, far side, driving on Gafford. Off balance, hits the shot against the defender, Gafford, and banks it home.
That's big because how many times have we said Karl-Anthony Towns still doesn't have a field goal? Will be able to say that within the first 2 minutes that he's gotten one this game. It's a great start for Minnesota.
4-2, Timberwolves. Doncic at midcourt, using a Gafford screen, trying to get around Edwards. Doncic now left elbow, pulls back, shoots, misses. He's 0 for 2 and cleared by Edwards. Edwards barking at Bill Kennedy, one of the officials. He thought he took a shot to the jaw, trying to get around that screen. Pass underneath to Gobert, knocked away by Irving, who's played very well defensively in the series, and it's Dallas ball. Irving has been great on both ends in the playoff. Washington corner 3 right side, off target. Offensive rebound, Jones, baseline left. Out to Luka with a right jab step, and then swishing home a 3 from the left side to get the Mavs a 5-4 lead.
And if you're Mike Conley, you want to crowd Luka. Don't allow him to square you up and take his time to get the 3 and be comfortable. Want to push him off that line.
Edwards far side, looks to drive, gets past his man, and a foul called. They're going to call it on the perimeter against Derek Jones Jr. for the reach-in about 20 feet away. That's the first foul on either team. We've got 9:36 to go first quarter.
But a vet move from Ant Edwards, attacking right there and extending his arms, allowing the officials to see that he's got the basketball in his gather and get smacked in the arm, and now will go to the line for 2.
Edwards' first free throw is good. That's his first point. Game tied at 5. Jason Kidd, the Dallas coach. Chris Finch, the Minnesota head coach. But Micah Norrie is the one on the floor going up and down the sideline because of the injury that Finch is trying to battle through. As the second free throw goes for Anthony Edwards. And it's 6-5. Minnesota in front. 2.5 minutes in here to game 4. Doncic at the midcourt line. Looking to drive, and Edwards spins, and Edwards took the ball away but called for a foul. That's his first. Reaching in on Doncic. Ed Malloy made the call.
I'll tell you what, wasn't a lot of contact on that one, but Ed Malloy absolutely watched Anthony Edwards as he disagreed with the call and running back down the floor. Didn't want to give Ant the tech, but made sure he paid attention.
It definitely was a foul looking at the replay. Reached around Doncic's off arm and then poked the ball away with his left hand. Shot clock at 3. Entry pass, left baseline. Irving got stripped by Conley and a turnover. 3 minutes in, 1-point Minnesota lead. Left wing is Edwards, defended by Washington. Has a Gobert screen. Edwards now driving, middle of the paint, pulls up, fouled by Gafford. He missed it. He was short by about 5 feet, but more free throws for Edwards. And that's the first on Gafford and the second team foul against Dallas.
But I love the fact that Edwards did not settle for the 3 on that possession, decided to get into the painted area, gets hit on the arm on his shot, and once again back at the free throw line where he's already for the second time in this game.
They need a big game from Edwards, obviously, as he misses a free throw. This, I was just about to say, is an area where he can get some easy points early on.
and get that confidence going, seeing the basketball go through. And I don't believe Ants got it really
the first. Doncic into the front court, uses a Gafford screen. And now McDaniels picks up Doncic on the switch at the logo, straight away from 35 feet out. Doncic, again, getting bumped, lost his balance, finds a cutting Jones, missed a bank shot from 4 feet left of the rim. Rebound Edwards, racing up the court, taking it all the way, hangs and finishes with the left hand off the glass. 5-point Minnesota lead.
And a great job by Edwards, not settling once again, attacking the paint in transition.
Minnesota, you had to figure you'd get Minnesota's best shot as Doncic fires and hits a pull-up jumper on the right wing from 18 feet. 10-7 Minnesota, but the Wolves have come with great energy early on. They have not missed a shot from the floor either, 4 of 4.
And we understand how important it is for Minnesota to get off to a great start, especially down 3-0. If they don't, it's a team that could possibly fold.
Towns fouled on the drive before the shot. He made the basket, but Scott Foster says no. It was on the floor as Washington commits the foul. And that is the first against P.J. Washington in the third team foul. Dwight Powell checking into the game. We saw him for the first time in this series in Game 3 with Lively out. And Gafford will take a seat. So a little bit smaller lineup now for Dallas with Powell at the 5.
And this is where Minnesota has to take advantage of the Mavs, especially on the offensive glass. I expect to see both Rudy and Cat going after every shot.
Conley between the rings, guarded by Irving, moves to his right, now stops and launches. Misses a 3. Up high for the rebound is Jones to the right side of the rim. Doncic in the forecourt. Edwards picks him up at the top of the key. Doncic shoots, and Doncic scores a 3. He's got the last 5, and so far 8 of the 10 for the Mavs.
Anthony Edwards allowed Luka to be too comfortable coming down the floor, getting into that going left step back, which of course is patented by Luka Doncic.
5 minutes in, game tied, 10 apiece. Edwards to Towns, top of the circle, fires to Gobert underneath, and he throws it away, trying to save it baseline right. Irving ahead to Doncic in the front court to our left. They are letting defenders body Doncic. He wants a foul, but did not get the call. And Jason Kidd says Luka back away, and Doncic did not make another sound. Missing a 3 right side is Irving. Rebound Edwards, Minnesota ball. Edwards pulls up for 3, left side, way off the mark. Rebound Doncic. Irving across the timeline, 6.5 to go first quarter. Game tied at 10. Stop, pop, miss on the right side. Irving, offensive rebound Powell. And loose ball and out of bounds on the far side. And it's going to be Dallas ball when we come back. So Dallas struggling, 4 of 11 so far. Minnesota is 4 of 6 from the floor, but the game's tied. 6:29 to go in the first. 10 for Dallas, 10 for the Wolves. You're listening to the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
In light with free AutoZone Fix Finder service that'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. We got a 10-10 game, 6.5 to go in the first quarter. Back to Dallas and Dave Pasch.
And 8 straight points for Luka Doncic. Already 2 threes in this game. As Dallas looks to sweep Minnesota and move on to the NBA Finals to face the Boston Celtics, who closed out the Pacers last night and will not play again until a week from Thursday. Dallas would love a similar schedule and have a week's worth of rest, which would be huge given the injuries that Luka Doncic has battled through. He's been listed as questionable for every game of the last 2 series. They'd love to get him some rest.
And they absolutely would, and we know Luka would love that rest. However, Minnesota would love to be able to get this series back in front of their home fans where they lost the first 2 games of this series, just to give them something better to be able to go out on in comparison to what they saw the last 2 games there.
Minnesota ball moving left to right. Ball in the front court on the left wing. Anthony Edwards backing down Josh Green. Shot clock at 10. Now facing up on the far wing. He'll take a jumper falling away, and it rolls around and drops through. Anthony Edwards with 6 early points. Minnesota by 2 at the midway point of the opening quarter.
And great job by Ant recognizing the help was on the way, going to the mid-range in comparison to trying to force it at the rim.
Powell at the head of the circle, stops his dribble, looking for help. Doncic's got to go help him out. Somebody's got to get the ball. And a turnover far side. The pass intercepted. Conley fires to Gobert, cutting middle of the lane, and gets the layup to go off the window. Minnesota by 4.
And once again, one of the underrated areas of Derek Lively is his ability to play on that short roll. And now Powell having to be in that position.
Doncic left side, double team, lost the handle, now regathers. And now going one-on-one, backing down Edwards. Fall away on the left baseline, off the mark. Rebound Gobert. 5:20 to go. Opening quarter, 14-10. Minnesota with possession. Conley at the top of the circle. It's a cutting Gobert, spinning middle of the lane. Hands off for Towns. Drives and scores. Left of the rim, banking it home to give Minnesota a 6-point lead.
And great cut by Karl-Anthony Towns, recognizing when Rudy's spinning, it may not be the best case scenario for his team, but cutting and putting himself in great position to help him finish.
Right side, Josh Green puts it on the floor. Rolls to the left corner. A three is up and no good from Washington. Gobert with a good block out of Powell gets the rebound. Edwards across the timeline on the left elbow. Doubled there. Now waits for one defender to back off. Going one-on-one against Green with the shot clock at 10. Goes baseline with 4.5 to go here in the first quarter. Wolves up 16-10. Shot clock at 5. Towns penetrates left of the lane. Lobs it for Gobert. Catches underneath. Fouled. He missed the shot. It'll go to the line for 2.
There's the example right there. Rudy Gobert on the offensive glass. Dwight Powell giving away about 6 inches to Rudy Gobert. And Rudy able to get on the inside position, come up with the offensive rebound, and the opportunity to put 2 more second chance points on the board for the Wolves.
4-team foul on Dallas. Gobert 2 points, 4 rebounds already. He had just 6 rebounds the entire game on Sunday. First foul shot from Gobert as he shoots near his chest. Spins away from the basket, no good.
Luka Doncic having a conversation with Scott Foster. Wanted a call on the last possession where he shot the fadeaway, felt as though there was contact. Scott Foster obliging Luka, having the conversation, but I've known Scott a long time. I don't think it's going to change much of his mind.
Nope. That's for sure. Meanwhile, Kyle Anderson has had a good series, checks in. Naz Reid is in as well. Towns to the bench. Gobert's second free throw swishes home. And Minnesota has a 7-point lead. 7 straight points out of the timeout for the Wolves as we near 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Doncic on the left wing. Very aggressive early on. Misses a shot falling baseline left to the ground. Rebound Minnesota. Anderson front court left side. Fires Gobert. Kicks right corner. 3 is on the way. No good. McDaniels. And rebound Doncic. Luka doubled as he stopped the dribble, and now a foul called. He got that call there.
But Rudy Gobert fouling Luka Doncic 70 feet away from the basket. And again, Rudy looks back as though, I meant to do it, but that's not a foul you waste in that opportunity. Luka is a dead dribble at that point, looking for someone to give the basketball up to. You can't make plays like that and waste possessions, especially for someone as valuable as Rudy on the defensive end.
First foul on Gobert. Hardy on the floor. Drives, gets to the rim, missed the layup. Rebound Edwards. Dallas has just 10 points in 8 minutes. Trails by 7. Minnesota ball. Edwards on the right side. Puts up the 3. It's good for Edwards. Minnesota up by 10. 20-10 with 3.5 to go in the first.
5-point swing right there. Jaden Hardy was caught in between whether to dunk it or lay it up. And misses the easy one, turns into a 3 on the other end.
On the foul line, Washington. His shot swatted away by Gobert. Had no blocks in game 3, and it's Minnesota ball. Edwards into the front court far side, around a screen. Guarded by Washington. Edwards waits, now drives middle of the lane. A runner from 8 feet, no good. Pinballs back to Edwards. His putback try won't go. Hit the side of the rim. Rebound Doncic. Pass into the front court off the fingertips of Hardy, but he tracks it down. Dallas doesn't have a point in the last 4 minutes. Trails by 10. Right side Hardy, shot clock at 10. Looking to drive with the left hand. Gets down the middle of the paint. His floater off the back rim, no. Rebound Reid, looking to run. Into the front court. Reid takes it all the way. Hangs and missed the layup. And Doncic with another rebound. Inside 3 minutes to go, 20-10 Minnesota. Doncic throws the ball up as he was bumped, and a foul called. Kyle Anderson and Luka Doncic go chest to chest. Ed Malloy steps in to separate. We'll see if they end up calling anything here, and a timeout is called by Minnesota. It does not look like we're going to have a technical. And actually, Luka goes over and daps up Kyle Anderson. I think they're just having a little friendly banter.
Well, I believe Luka took exception. He thought the foul was a little extracurricular on that one. However, love to see those two guys come together, as you mentioned. Dap each other up, tap each other on the back, and let's go to our separate corners to come out fighting again after the timeout.
First foul on Anderson, 13 foul. Minnesota 20, Dallas 10, 2:50 to go first quarter. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
Jim Bass, One Art Granger studio. Anthony Edwards early going 9 points, 4 rebounds. He's averaging 22 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists in these conference finals. Only 3 players in league history have averaged 27 and 7 in the conference finals before turning the age of 23, that being Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. Not bad company to be a part of. He has the Wolves up top 20-10, just under 3 to go in the first quarter. Back to Dallas and Ashley Shamady.
Thanks so much, Jim. And guys, obviously a really good start from Minnesota. The biggest message to the team from Chris Finch, from some of the players, is, look, we have not played our best basketball. They truly believe that. He said, we're obviously, some of that is because of Dallas. They've done a great job, but we can play better. We have to leave our best basketball out there. They said Timberwolves defense is playing suffocating defense, and that's something that we really have to take pride in. There's been a scoring drought by Dallas, so obviously that is something they are really living on to start this game. We have to fight for every possession, look like the Wolfpack that we have been before, and we have to do a better job of making it difficult for Kyrie and Luka, and that's going to be the main keys as they continue to progress in this game 4. They said the first couple games, look, it's been turnovers game 1, game 2. It was missing shots in game 3 to close out both of those games, but getting off to the good start and playing that suffocating defense is what's really going to help them and get them off to the good start that we're seeing so far.
All right, Ashley, Doncic hits the first free throw. There was an ovation during the commercial break as Maxi Kleber checks in for the first time for Dallas since May 3rd, Game 6 against the Clippers. Hurt his shoulder and has not played since. Doncic gets both free throws. Kyrie Irving staying on the bench right now. 20-12 Minnesota with 2.5 to go in the opening quarter.
And Maxi Kleber stepping in at that center spot. So now the third center that Jason Kidd has played in this game thus far.
And a smaller lineup. Towns and Reed are the two bigs for Minnesota. Edwards on the left wing, driving into the paint, hangs, reverse layup, no good, but he was fouled. And so Anthony Edwards, who's got 9 points already in the first quarter on 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 at the line, will go back to the strike.
Oftentimes we've seen Anthony Edwards really a little more reserved to start games off, trying to conserve that energy for the fourth quarter, even though he really hasn't had much energy in the fourth quarter of any of the first 3 games thus far. But this is as aggressive as we've seen him to start a game. Even though Dallas is trying to double team him, he's still finding ways to be able to get through those double teams and attack the rim.
Edwards knocks down both free throws after Kleber picked up the foul, the 15 foul on Minnesota, or on Dallas rather, and it's a 10-point Wolves lead, 22-12. Mavericks are 4 of 17 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3. Anderson hits the deck as Doncic put a move on him on the left wing about 25 feet away. Still no shot attempt. Shot clock at 5. Doncic with the ball top of the key. Moves to his right. Step back 3. Off the back rim, no. And it's rebounded by Reed.
Dave, I'm not an analytics guy, but I can tell you that Luka Doncic's step back percentage is much lower going to his right than his left.
Edwards pulls up left side and hits from 15 feet. Edwards with 13 points. It's a 12-point Minnesota lead, 24-12. 1:45 to go first quarter.
Smart play by Ant getting to the mid-range as Jaden Hardy and Nickeil Alexander-Walker both fall down.
Ball ends up in Doncic's hand. He's taken 8 of the 18 shots for the Mavs, and Doncic gets bumped at midcourt by Towns. So that's the first on Towns, and the first in the last 2 minutes on Minnesota as Kyrie Irving's back. Doncic will take a seat. So Jason Kidd staggering the minutes of the 2 stars right now, with his team shooting 22% from the floor and down by 12. Hardy inbounds to Kleber between the circles straight away. Now gives to Irving, guarded by Anderson. Spins right, trying to go baseline. Works his way down the middle of the lane. Kicks it out. Left wing 3 from Hardy. Got it! Hardy with a big hit. They needed a spark. They needed somebody other than Doncic to make a shot, and Hardy did.
They absolutely did, and Hardy stepping up and taking advantage of his minutes.
Towns attacking, aggressive drive, called for an offensive foul as he went right into the chest of Maxi Kleber. 2 quick fouls on Towns.
And Mike and Nora and Chris Finch both looking to the back bench to see if this is a call that they need to challenge. It's the second on Towns.
They will not challenge. Meanwhile, Dallas in the front court working it to the right corner. And a 3 goes for Josh Green. Back-to-back threes. And Minnesota's lead is down to 6, 24-18 with a minute to go in the first.
A little momentum on the side of the Mavs now as the reserves have gone to work off the bench.
Reed, beautiful shot. left side, driving the lane and throwing it off the glass and home.
Speaking of reserves, the best in the NBA this year, Sixth Man of the Year, Naz Reid, with a big bucket in response.
Irving, left corner, he'll put it up. Offensive foul is called on a screen. No basket from Kyrie Irving as Alexander Walker took a shot. But he's going to try to walk it off as Irving is called for the foul, his first.
One thing we found out for certain early, Maxi Kleber not scared to use that shoulder, and he's not scared of contact right now. A big screen from Maxi to get that offensive foul.
They actually ruled that Irving stepped out of bounds, so no foul call, because it actually looked like they could have called a foul on Kleber. That would have been his second. 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. 8-point Minnesota lead. And now Josh Green trying to defend Edwards way away from the basket on the right side, commits a foul. And that will send Edwards back to the line. He's already got 13 points and 4 of 6 at the stripe. First personal on Josh Green.
And you can see what Anthony Edwards' intent is early in this game, is getting downhill, it's finding those seams in the Dallas defense to find his way to the rim. And oftentimes getting fouled in opportunities at the free throw line.
Edwards hits the first foul shot. So 14 points for him. Doncic has 10 to lead the way for Dallas. Irving has just 2 on 1 of 4 shooting.
Smaller defensive lineup now as Jaden McDaniels will substitute in for Karl Anthony Towns.
Second free throw no good and knocked out of bounds by Reed, so it's Dallas ball. By the way, the front court, the starting front court for the Mavs, no points. Jones, Washington, and Gafford shut out in this first quarter. Dallas ball, about an 8-second difference. Game and shot clock. So 3 left side, no good from Irving. Long rebound, near side, Alexander Walker. Edwards will hold for the final shot with Minnesota up 27-18 over the Mavericks here at the end of the first quarter. Anthony Edwards, 4 of 7 shooting. He's gone the entire way here in the first. 8 seconds to go. Right side, Edwards driving into the lane. Fires, pass picked off Green in midcourt. 3 seconds to go. Green driving right to left with 1 second left, and he's fouled as he tried to get the shot away before time expired. 0.2 of a second left. Naz Reid commits the foul. Green will shoot 2.
That's a huge play for Dallas, trying to find some momentum going to end the quarter, and more importantly, takes away an opportunity, another turnover for Anthony Edwards in this first quarter. So that's really been the only thing he hasn't done well to start this game.
First on Reed. Josh Green just hit a 3 a couple possessions ago and knocks down the first free throw. Year 4 for Green in the NBA. Played collegiately for 1 season at Arizona. Dante Exum comes in for defense for the Mavericks with 0.2 of a second left. Plus, they don't want Kyrie to get a foul. So they bring Exum in. Second foul shot good. Reed will inbound. Just hits McDaniels, who dribbles it into the ground, and that's the end of the first quarter. Well, Minnesota shot 63%, Dallas 29%, but it's only a 7-point deficit for the Mavericks. Minnesota 27, Dallas 20.
Strong 11.5 minutes to start this game for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but that turnover at the end, allowing the Mavs to put 2 points on the board, could end up being a big play for Dallas.
Very true, but all in all, if you're Minnesota and Chris Finch, you got to be pleased with what you've seen from your team in terms of the energy and the defense. They certainly look defensively a lot like what we saw from Minnesota during the regular year. At the end of 1, Minnesota 27, Dallas 20. This is the Western Conference Finals.
And Wolves up 7 after 1. Start of the second quarter. Back to Dallas with Ashley, Corey, and Dave.
You mentioned the 14 for Edwards. The rest of the team at 13, but Minnesota's in front. Let's check in with Ashley. And we'll get to Ashley here in a second. Dallas, meanwhile, 6 of 21. 10 points for Doncic. The rest of the team had 10.
You want me to do my best Ashley imitation right now?
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
I'm going to pass because I want to make sure you get a chance to call the action.
Minnesota with the ball to start the second quarter. Front court to our right. Conley bouncing to Alexander Walker at the three-point line left side. He'll take a long 3. It spins away. Rebound Kyle Anderson. Conley will try again. His 3 goes down from the right side, and the lead back to 10.
Another offensive rebound. And again, you've got Gafford on the floor, but you can see the attack of the offensive glass by the bigs.
No Doncic. Irving, though, is in the game for Dallas. A near turnover as Irving almost stepped out again on the near side after an errant pass from Washington. No front court points for Dallas in the first quarter. Irving, top of the key, shot clock at 3. Pass to Green, right side. A launch 3 there, way off the mark. Rebound, Naz Reid. Reid bringing it up the court, crossing the timeline, putting it on the floor, and throwing it to the left side for Kyle Anderson. Anderson almost traveled, throws to Reed, right wing. He'll put it on the deck, drive, miss a layup off the glass, and rebound by Green, who brings it into the front court for the Mavs. Hits the trailing Irving, puts it on the deck, driving, lefty scoop is good. What a beautiful shot from 4 feet for Kyrie Irving.
It doesn't, the degree of difficulty doesn't get any
In the quarter.
And some fans in the expensive seats along the floor right there got a gift of Green sitting in their lap.
Just a little bit down from Shaq.
Yes.
Seated across from us at the hash mark far side.
You notice Shaq actually has 2 seats
I
over
did
there.
notice that. He'll shoot and hit a 3. 5 straight for Dante Exum. Timeout Minnesota as the Mavericks with Luka Doncic on the bench have climbed back within 3.
The momentum that the Mavs gained with the turnover and Josh Green scoring the 2 free throws heading into the corner has continued throughout the second quarter for the Mavs.
The Mavs have hit 5 of their last 7 shots. They had made 4 baskets total prior to that stretch. 9:43 to go second quarter, 30-27 Wolves. You're listening to the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
58% from the floor, 38% from beyond the arc. Only 3 teams since 1980 have shot 58% from the field, 38% from three-point range in the conference final. Warriors and Cavs in 2017, the Warriors in 2022. Tonight, 36% from the floor, 42 though from beyond that arc. Those 5 threes have helped them get within 3 at 30-27, just under 10 to go in the opening half. Back to Dallas and Dave Pasch.
And 13 bench points, so basically half of Dallas's total coming from the bench. They've made this move, Corey, with Doncic on the bench. So after playing 10 minutes in the first quarter, we have not seen him since, so it's good rest for him.
It's good rest for him. It's great minutes by the reserves, but it's also a lot of help from the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have turned the basketball over 7 times, resulting in 15 points off turnovers for the Dallas Mavericks, and that's a lot of Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, those guys coming in and adding that effort on the defensive end of the floor.
Anthony Edwards back in the game for Minnesota. Both Towns and Gobert on the floor. Each has 2 fouls. Anderson driving right side. Has his shot blocked under the rim by Daniel Gafford. Loose ball. Everybody gets on the floor, and they're going to jump it up. But they got to peel bodies off of one another to see who the 2 gentlemen are that are going to jump it up at the foul line to our right with the shot clock at 7.
That's a good old-fashioned dog pile like we used to have playing tackle football outside back in the day, where you made sure you got your grass stains before you got back in the house.
And they finally got everybody off the floor. It's going to be Anthony Edwards and Josh Green to jump it up with 9:26 to go. Second quarter, Minnesota 30, Dallas 27. Leading scores, Anthony Edwards 14, Doncic with 10. Exum and Green with 5 apiece off the bench. Washington and Derrick Jones still scoreless. Exum, Green, Irving, along with Gafford and Washington for the Mavericks right now. Scott Foster will toss it up at the free throw line to our right. Edwards and Green will jump it up. And the loose ball, after both guys mistime their jump, goes to the Mavericks. Irving into the front court, guarded by Kyle Anderson, middle of the floor. Moves to his right, bounce to Washington, left wing, driving into the lane. Euro step, fouled on the shot. He missed it, hit the backboard and nothing else. But he'll go to the line for 2 with Edwards committing the foul. And that's the second on Edwards. So 3 of the Wolves starters with 2 fouls. 7-0 run right now as we check in with Ashley.
Guys, P.J. Washington obviously involved in that midseason trade when he came here from the Hornets, but he actually grew up watching the Mavs. He grew up here in Dallas and said, it is such a full circle moment for me. That year I used to go to a lot of Mavs games. The year that they won the finals in 2011, he went to the Western Conference Finals. He was in the seats, just being able to watch his team. So from watching Dallas win a title in 2011 to now playing for one, PJ is more than happy to be home now playing for this team.
He's had so many big moments in this postseason. Just got his first point on the made free throw. The second one swishes through. And Dallas within one, 30-29. Minnesota 3 minutes into the second quarter here in Game 4 with the Mavs leading the series 3-0. Conley left side drive scoop is good off the window. Beautifully done by Conley, and he's got 7.
And a smart play by Conley, not looking to pass the basketball, but getting on the glass. Even if he missed, they'll get an offensive rebound.
Exum right side, keeping the dribble. Offensive foul is called on a screen. It's going to be on Kyrie Irving. His first foul as Luka Doncic checks back in at the 8:52 mark, replacing Josh Green. They're going to keep Exum on the floor.
Speaking of on the floor, we got a little confetti flying right now. You think they got anything planned here for later? You could imagine.
I didn't see it. What, from the Jumbotron?
Yeah, some confetti falling to the floor. P.J. Washington tried to catch it.
That's usually a bad omen. Towns went for the dunk and got blocked. He thought he was fouled as he hit the deck. He's on the ground with Gafford. Both guys get up. Dallas ball, left wing Washington in the front court. Out to Doncic. Towns got back on defense and is in Doncic's grill. Luka driving, middle of the lane, goes to the other side, throws to the right wing for Washington. Middle of the paint drive. Exum left side. Missed 3. Rebound backside by Conley with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Minnesota 32, Dallas 29. Edwards on the left side, pulls up for 3. It's good. Gobert freed him up on the screen, and Edwards with 17 first half points.
Definitely the best first half we've seen from Anthony Edwards in this series thus far.
5 straight Wolves points, leading 35-29. 7:50 to go here, second quarter. Doncic fakes right, drives left into the paint, throws to Irving. Now Exum on the right side. Skip Doncic, left corner Washington. That's a spot, but he missed it. And a rebound for Conley again.
They give Karl-Anthony Towns a lot of credit for making multiple efforts defensively, getting a hand up on P.J. Washington into the corner.
Conley left wing driving, going under the basket. Throws to McDaniels in the right corner. He'll drive right baseline, and he was fouled on the drive. That's the first foul on Dallas here in the quarter. 7:34 to go in the half. 35-29 Wolves.
And Mike Inori going out picking up a piece of said confetti off the floor. We saw a couple pieces falling. Maybe I'm sure they're probably storing some up above the Jumbotron right now, just in case.
Maybe that was symbolic, though. Mike Inori taking the confetti as if to say, not yet.
I like what you did there, my friend. See, that's you going above and beyond, thinking the game.
Minnesota ball, shot clock at 10. Left side Edwards, who's been terrific so far. 5 of 8 shooting. And now a defensive 3-second violation. It looks like waiting for Bill Kennedy to give the signal. It is. So it'll be a one-shot technical here. Doncic is pointing to the court saying that they had the proper setup defensively, but Kennedy not biting, and Towns will shoot the free throw. His first attempt of the game, he's got 4 points, just 2 of 3 from the floor. It's only 3 shot attempts. He nails the free throw. 6 straight points by Minnesota, answering that nice Dallas run.
And the goal on that possession was to actually post Karl-Anthony Towns against Derek Jones Jr. was guarding him on that last possession. But Derek Jones not giving Karl-Anthony Towns any leeway of trying to get to the basket.
Edwards in between the rings. Dribbles right hand on the near side. Shot clock at 5. They double Edwards. He hits Towns at the top of the key. Fires to Gobert. Middle of the paint. 1 to shoot. Gobert didn't see it. Turned it over. Shot clock violation. Never saw the clock. And Minnesota now with 8 turnovers here in the first half.
But it wasn't just Gobert. I'm not sure if Anthony Edwards nor Karl-Anthony Towns, who touched the basketball before Gobert, realized that there was only 5 seconds on the shot clock when they were making those passes.
Doncic for the ball. Far side. Stops. Now fires a 3. Too strong off the back rim. Punched out. Back to Doncic. He'll try again. That one's good. Kept alive by Derek Jones. And Doncic with his third 3.
And call it 2 for $1. Luka had a lot of time to line that one up on the second make.
36-32. Gobert attacking, and the angle middle of the paint was cut off by Kleba. Now left side Conley driving on the baseline. Fires to Gobert, middle of the paint. Missed the shot, but a foul. Gobert will go back to the line where he's 1 of 2. Second team foul against Dallas. It's on Kleba, his second personal.
Dave, Rudy Gobert gets fouled on that possession. He'll get an opportunity to go to the free throw line. You know, if you're a Minnesota fan, you hope that he comes away making both. But that's an attempt he has to catch and go up and try to dunk the basketball. Maxi Kleber has 0 resistance for Rudy Gobert and his size in that spot, so he should be actually shooting for a 3-point play in comparison for 1 or 2.
And obviously he's had his struggles at the line over the course of his career, but calmly hits the first one there. So it's 37-32. Minnesota leads. 6:40 to play, second quarter. Naz Reid about to check in for Gobert.
But as you go through these series and you understand how important each and every possession is, that's another one of the missed opportunities. I think Minnesota left a lot of opportunities on the table to push that lead out more so even in that first quarter where they should have had a double-figure lead.
Gobert got both foul shots. Dallas has taken 6 free throws. Minnesota's taken 13. Dallas ball down 6. Doncic left elbow to Kleba on the near wing. Hand off Doncic. Tries to drive. Edwards right there to greet him, so he goes into the paint. Misses the 8-footer. Got his own miss. Puts up another shot, and off the backboard, no. Doncic has already taken 12 shots. Rebound Minnesota.
And Anthony Edwards taking exception to the fact that Doncic didn't get a call going over his back.
Edwards straight on 3. Short. Rebound right to Conley, and he scores on a layup. Uncontested. Minnesota back up 8 midway through the second quarter.
Mike Conley bailing out the Wolves on that possession.
Washington right wing skips to Doncic. Touch pass Kleba. He'll put it on the floor, take it strong, and get the layup against Gobert on the left side.
That's got to feel good for Maxi Kleba. Got injured, being undercut, attacking the basket, missing 3+ weeks with that shoulder. Got to feel good for him to get back downhill and get one to go.
Conley drives left side, and scoop shot is good with the left hand, high off the window. Conley came to play. 11 points so far, 5 of 6 from the floor. 42-34 Minnesota. 5.5 to go, second quarter. Dallas ball, Doncic left side. Thought about the 3. How about the bench keeping Dallas in it? Outscoring Minnesota 15-2. Irving drives right side. Gets hammered as he missed the layup right of the rim. He'll shoot 2. It'll be his first trip to the line. He has just 4 points.
Important to see who that foul is on, though. If that's on Jaden McDaniels, it's much better than if it's on Rudy Gobert, who's already playing with 2 fouls, as does Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. I believe they do give that one to McDaniels.
So that's his first and the third team foul. Kyrie Irving at the stripe. Been brilliant throughout this series. Never lost in his career a closeout opportunity. 14-0. And he hits the first free throw.
You and I both were here for the last one of those opportunities when they closed out Oklahoma City on this floor where Kyrie passed Robert Horry for the best record amongst closeout performances. Actually, I got the trivia question right on that one. That's the only reason I remember these type of things, these type of stats, because I got a trivia question correct. It doesn't happen often.
Kyrie Irving has been one of the best crunch-time players in the playoffs the last decade. Irving's second free throw is good. How much did the Mavs miss Derek Lively so far in this game? Have you noticed anything there?
I have noticed the rim protection, but more importantly, the offensive rebounding on the end of the floor and having that lob threat. I think it's a different style of play for the Mavs when they've got Maxi Kleba on the floor in comparison to Lively.
Shot clock at 10, 5-minute mark here in the second quarter. Edwards on the right wing. Crossover dribble, goes behind the back, takes a long 2 off the back iron. Rebound Kleba. Dallas ball down 6, 42-36. Mavs still shooting 34% for the floor. Doncic drives, kicks to the left corner. A 3 is up. A 3 is good from Derek Jones Jr. And Dallas back within 3.
And you've got to appreciate the way the Dallas Mavericks stay shot ready, recognizing when Luka gets in the paint, he can find you.
Edwards right side, 42-39 Wolves. 4.5 to go in the first half. Edwards resets now, drives right of the paint. Skip pass, Reed. Open 3 on the left, no good. And over the top is Towns getting called for his third foul. Not a smart play by Towns that time, picking up his third personal. We'll see if they keep him on the floor.
They can't keep him on the floor, immediately getting Rudy Gobert back in the lineup. But the issue this is Luka Doncic just went over Anthony Edwards' back. Gets an offensive rebound. And it's the exact same play. And the thing that you only ask for with the officials is consistency. If you're going to make that call against Cat, you've got to make it on this end against Luka.
4-minute mark, second quarter. Dallas down 3, 42-39. Doncic right wing, fires left corner. Jones will try it again and hit again to tie the game at 42. Back-to-back triples for Jones.
Staying shot ready. Not having to gather yourself to shoot it. You're already ready to shoot it as soon as the basketball arrives, knowing Luka will find you.
8 straight points for Dallas and contact off the ball on the near side in the front court and a Dallas fall. So they get P.J. Washington for the foul. Team's third, his second personal. 3:56 to go second quarter. The crowd came to its feet after that three by Jones. Many have sat back down after the foul call.
But remember, you mentioned P.J. Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. hadn't really gotten involved in the first quarter of this game. It was the bench helping out. Now, Derrick Jones Jr. getting heavily involved.
Edwards with it at the midcourt line. Bounce to Reed, left side. Shot clock at 5. Reed throws to the left corner. McDaniels tries a three. It's no good. Rebound Reed. Edwards now. Top of the circle. Into the paint. Floater. An air ball from 12 feet. Rebound Doncic. Dallas looking for the lead for the first time since the opening basket. And Edwards called for the foul. His third foul. And it happened about 20 feet away from the goal on the left side. Not smart.
But it's a frustration play. He was frustrated because he got contacted on the pull-up when he went into the lane. No foul was called. Mike Conley is talking to Scott Foster about that right now. Anthony Edwards cannot compound that by coming back and picking up his third foul on Luka Doncic when he's not even in scoring position. Again, these are the type of plays that have showed some immaturity from the Minnesota Timberwolves throughout these playoffs. We saw Karl-Anthony Towns just pick up his third, trying to get an offensive rebound that he can't get, and then Anthony Edwards picks up his third on a play that he shouldn't be making.
It's a double whammy because that puts Dallas in the bonus for the rest of the quarter. Doncic just gave the Mavericks the lead with a free throw. He's got 14 points. 43-42 Dallas. MVP chance for Doncic, who finished third in the voting, behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the winner Nikola Jokic. Luka gets both foul shots. Dallas perfect at the line, 10 of 10. Mavs a 10-0 run over the last 2 minutes to lead 44-42. 3.5 to go in the second quarter. Anderson is out there along with Alexander Walker. With Edwards and Towns both in foul trouble. McDaniels penetrates left of the lane, hangs, missed it, trying to hit it over the outstretched arm of Jones. Rebound Doncic. Front court to the right, Jones driving, gets to the rim, lays it up, no, but a foul. And Jones will shoot two, trying to extend the lead.
And you can see the value of Maxi Kleber able to come in and doing a great job keeping Rudy Gobert off the offensive glass. He may not get the rebound, but he's making sure that Gobert doesn't get the offensive board either. And it was also Maxi Kleber who had the box out on Karl-Anthony Towns when Towns picked up his third foul.
So free throws here for Jones. Second personal on McDaniels. He was hobbling just a bit. A little awkward landing on the drive. Jones has had some big games in this postseason. He's bounced around a lot as he misses the free throw. And on 7 teams in 8 years. At 11 points in game 3. 3 of 3 from three-point range. Gafford back out there for Dallas. And Kleber goes to the bench. 3:11 on the clock here in the half. 44-42, Dallas leading. One more free throw for Jones after coming up short on the first try. And the lefty puts it up and gets the bounce on the second one. It's a 45-42 game, the largest lead for Dallas. They barely led in this series, and certainly barely led in this game. Anderson hits a cutting read at the foul line, throws to the left corner. A high arcing three is good for Alexander Walker. It ties the game at 45.
Big bucket by Nickeil Alexander Walker, and recognizing the cutter was going to get him open, was ready to shoot as soon as he caught it over a contested hand.
Doncic thought about the step back, but Kyle Anderson, so smart, was right there with him. He read the play. Now Luka drives left baseline, and a reach-in foul on Gobert, and that's his third. Gobert, Towns, and Edwards all with 3 personal fouls. And again, that was unnecessary by Gobert. Doncic was not shooting the ball.
And you speak of smart plays. That was absolutely intelligent by Luka Doncic, recognizing Rudy Gobert coming over out of control, knowing Rudy's playing with 2 fouls, picks up that third, sends Rudy to the bench with 2 other starters who happen to be the best players for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
We'll see if Dallas makes its move now with 3 starters in foul trouble for the Wolves. 2:40 to go in the half. Minnesota 45, Dallas 45. This is the Western Conference Finals and ESPN by Indeed.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons?
This does not bode well for the car, or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
Mike Greenberg is Greeny.
He had no sense of humor about it. Like in the old days when Earl Weaver would come out of the dugout and be yelling at umps, like there was a give and take to it. Like Angelo Hernandez was not to be questioned.
He just took.
Like that was it. He just gave. He would make like 4 terrible calls in a row, and the second someone looked at him funny, he would throw them out. He was terrible at that job.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app. Carlin versus Joe on ESPN Radio.
Cookie Crisp was crazy because growing up, I think we had that once. That was where my mom drew the line.
Yeah.
Lucky Charms, no problem, because at least half of them weren't marshmallows. I mean, talk about the arrogance of cookies in a bowl for breakfast. And people be like, yeah, breakfast most important meal of the day. Let's get some Cookie Crisp.
Carlin versus Joe. Weekdays at noon Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
He's outrageous and usually off base, I might add, but I love him anyways. That's why I sit across from the Mad Dog, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, every Wednesday to set him straight. First Take starts at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Wednesday, can the Mavs close out the Wolves, or will Anthony Edwards be able to extend the series? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Jim Basketball in our Granger studio. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving coming into this game, combining for 181 points in the first 3 games of the series. Only 4 previous pairs of teammates have each hit for 83 points over the first 3 games of a division or conference final. Tonight, they've combined for 21, but they've had help. We're even at 45, 2:40 left in the first half with Cat, Edwards, and Gobert on the bench. Back to Big D and Dave Pash.
Critical stretch, yeah, Jim, for sure here for Minnesota. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Guys, I just listened in that last time out for Minnesota. Mike Conley, obviously the veteran of the team. He has been here before. It's been a couple years, but he said, talking to the group, look, we have to continue to stay poised. We cannot make tic-tac fouls like that. Chris Finch also addressing the group and said, look, we have to play through the frustration. Once again, Corey, you were mentioning it. We can't make those type of fouls that's away from the basket that just don't make any sense. So he said, look, play through the frustration, stay poised, and we'll continue this. We are tied with 2:40 here to go to end this first half.
And Doncic at the line with the penalty situation here. Game tied at 45. Luka 4 of 4 so far at the stripe. 15 points. Irving only has 6. And Dallas shooting under 40%, while Minnesota's at 50% from the floor.
But the turnovers have been a story when you consider the fact that Minnesota has 8 turnovers that have turned into 18 points for the Dallas Mavericks. Can you consider those energy and those effort plays, those hustle plays that turn those turnovers into points on the other end? A lot of that's come from their bench, which allowed them to get back in this game when you consider Josh Green, Exum, and Jaden Hardy getting involved.
Luka got the first, the second one hit the front rim, the backboard, then sat on the rim for a second and dropped through. So Doncic with 17 points, Dallas by 2, 47-45. 2:30 remaining in the first half. Alexander Walker, top of the key, Conley left side. Quick shot, and it's too strong. Offensive rebound. Anderson hits Conley, who drives and flips it to the corner. Gets it back now with a shot clock at 8. Anderson at the foul line, leans in and hits the half hook from about 12 feet.
And this is a group, when you look what's on the floor for Minnesota Timberwolves, this is a group that can be solid defensively and find a way really to get another lead going into the halftime, especially if Jay McDaniels can do a good job on Luka here defensively.
47 apiece, 2-minute mark. Doncic driving on McDaniels. Stops, falls away, and his shot no good. Rebound Washington for Dallas. He'll pull it out. Fire to Doncic in midcourt. Shot clock at 7. Here comes a ball screen to the left of Luka. Fires to Irving on the left side. Shot clock at 3. Jab step Irving. Now driving left baseline. Stripped and out of bounds. Going to stay with Dallas. Just 0.4 of a second on the shot clock. So we'll see if they lob it here to Gafford with 1:39 in the game clock.
2 high-level defensive plays. One by Alexander Walker, one by McDaniels on that possession to put Dallas in a tough spot here in the shot clock.
Irving inbounding baseline left. Lobs, and it's knocked away by Reed. It's a shot clock violation.
This is an area right now. The biggest concern for this group for Minnesota is how do you put points on the board? And again, they've done a great job defensively, stifling Dallas the last couple of possessions. But with this group, you got to wonder, where do you get your points from?
Minnesota ball front court left. Anderson skip to the right. McDaniels driving to the elbow on the right side. Now Mike Conley left wing. Shot clock at 8. Conley to the free throw line. Now into the paint. Keeps the pivot foot down. And he got fouled. He missed the shot on a little half hook. It'll go to the line for 2. Jones picking up the foul, his second.
That is veteran respect right there. Michael Conley not being called for a travel on that possession. We saw Kyrie Irving get called for a travel on the exact same play in Game 3, which, again, you shouldn't, and no one should get more respect when it comes to footwork than Kyrie Irving. And Mike Conley right there with multiple pivots does not get called for a travel. That is 17 years of experience showing up and being a great guy and having the right relationship with the officials.
He just got the first free throw, so Minnesota's actually taken the lead. They, remember, 2:40 on the clock when the 3 guys went to the bench with 3 fouls. As Conley's second free throw is good, Minnesota's been better than Dallas during the stretch so far, so they've made the most of this situation. With 1:15 to go, they lead 49-47 here at the end of the first half. Luka left wing, thought about the 3. Pump fake, now drive. Gets the ball out to the right side for Irving. His 3 is too strong, and it's rebounded by Alexander Walker. Left side, Minnesota ball, and Alexander Walker tried to skip it to Reed on the right wing, and he threw it away out of bounds. 9th turnover by the Wolves. Inside a minute to go in the half. Dallas down 2 with the ball. 49-47. Irving penetrates, lobs, and a slam by Gafford left of the rim to tie the game at 49 each.
A big swing there. When you consider Minnesota does not get a shot attempt, and then you get the dunk to get the crowd right back into it from Gafford.
Anderson on the left side, dribble handoff for Reed. Now gives to Alexander Walker, top of the circle, shot clock at 9. He'll drive and spin to his left hand. Out to Anderson with a timer at 5. Anderson drives, stops on the foul line, shoots to Jay, and it's short. Rebound Doncic. A 4-second difference between the game and shot clocks here at the end of the half. Mavs and Wolves tied at 49 apiece. Luka just going to pound the ball into the floor with 12 on the shot clock at midcourt with his back to the basket. No ball screen. Luka driving, and a foul is going to be called on Doncic, trying to free himself from the clutches of Alexander Walker. That's the first foul on Luka. Minnesota now can hold for the final shot.
Wow. I mean, again, I've seen Luka initiate contact often on the offensive end that is much more decisive than that. I believe he and Alexander Walker did get their arms tangled up, but I can't say that Luka was necessarily the one initiating that one. Shocked to see that call go against Luka, especially at that time in the half.
Inbounded Conley in the backcourt, 7 seconds left. Dribbles across the timeline with 5. 35 feet away on the left side with 3. Conley puts it on the floor with 1. Leans in, shoots the right-hander, and it's no good off the backboard, and that's the end of the first half. But if you're Minnesota, you have to be pleased with the fact that the lead didn't balloon for Dallas in the last 2:40 with Gobert, Towns, and Edwards all in foul trouble.
I believe if you're the Wolves, you looked at it as you survived. You didn't necessarily take anything and build a lead, but you survived that time of seeing your 3 stars on the bench at that time in foul trouble, all playing the 3. But important that when they start the second half, to make sure they don't get those ticky-tack fouls and put someone back on the bench with 4.
And if you're Dallas, you have to feel good that at some point you're going to get into a groove offensively. They've shot just 37% from the floor. They were 8 of 19 from 3 and made most of their free throws, but Kyrie Irving just 2 of 8. Doncic had 17, but he was the only Maverick in double figures. That's the end of the first half. Dallas 49, Minnesota 49. The Wolves trying to force a Game 5 back in the Twin Cities on Thursday. Now let's send it to Jim Basketball in the studio with the AutoZone halftime report.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. Both stars hit for 17, Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic. Dallas 15-7 bench advantage key. We're square at 49. NBA halftime report is presented by AutoZone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Coming up next on the AutoZone halftime report, we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference champs, that being the Boston Celtics and their road to the finals. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the
touches the paint to be able to throw it up for a lob.
Edwards spinning away from the D. Now drives left of the lane, goes up with the left hand, missed the shot, and rebound Gafford. A blown layup by Edwards. I don't know if he expected contact. Gafford, but counted for Doncic, and the Mavs had their largest lead.
Remember, we talked about in the first half how physical they were allowing the defense to be with Rudy Gobert, especially when he was going after offensive rebounds. But this time, he's trying to check out. Gafford is the one physical when he's going for offensive rebound, but I believe that's the right call.
No question. Gafford just shoved him out of the way. Edwards drives middle of the lane, runs into the defense, so he kicks it out. McDaniels hits a three from the right side.
And smart play by Edwards as Kyrie Irving was setting up to take that charge, able to sidestep and deliver a strike to the corner.
55-54 Dallas, 2 minutes gone by. In the third quarter, Doncic with it, left-hand dribble, far side. Lobs for Gafford, another slam right of the rim. And so Gafford very involved here. Rim running in the third quarter.
But you see what a luxury it is to have Daniel Gafford on the floor, especially on the offensive end, to give Luka that outlet whenever he touches the paint to be able to throw it up for a lob.
Edwards spinning away from the D. Now drives left of the lane, goes up with the left hand, missed the shot, and rebound Gafford. A blown layup by Edwards. I don't know if he expected contact or what. Now Doncic chest pass is intercepted. McDaniels, 3-on-1 right to left. McDaniels gives to the trailer. Edwards back to McDaniels left side, and McDaniels puts it down. And it's 57-56 Dallas with 9.5 to go in the third.
And Derrick Jones Jr. upset about the fact that he and Luka Doncic both pushed out of the way, which allowed an easy layup for Minnesota.
Irving in between the rings, throws to the left side. Washington waits, now fires, missed the three. Rebound by Anthony Edwards. Minnesota looking to regain the lead. Edwards across the timeline. At the head of the circle, driving with the right hand, gets into the paint, push shot too strong, boarded by Doncic. That's 10 rebounds to go with 19 points, 5 assists. Irving left wing in the front court has Towns on him, so he'll drive on him, get past him, into the lane, pass underneath Gafford, fumbled it, loose ball, and into the hands of Conley. 4-on-2 right to left for Minnesota. Conley wrap around. Edwards right side. Fake the three. Gets closer. Skip pass. Caught by McDaniels, but he stepped out of bounds, and then he tried to throw it off Derrick Jones Jr., and he hit him where the sun don't shine.
And immediately goes to Derrick Jones Jr. and hugs him in an apologetic way to make sure Derrick Jones is okay. Of course, regardless of the competition, you never want to do that to another man.
Every man in the building just gasped as Derrick Jones valiantly walks back down the court. Dallas ball, 3.5 minutes gone by in the third. Doncic to the rim, gets the lefty layup, got a screen, and then Rudy Gobert goes right at Derrick Jones Jr. Doncic steps in, shoves Gobert out of the way. I think they're going to get a technical called here on Dallas for Derrick Jones Jr. initiating that. 59-56 Mavs, 8:28 to go third quarter.
I will say this, Rudy Gobert absolutely met Derrick Jones at the summit as the two caught eye contact and decided we've got to come together. But Rudy did go in with his hands up to make sure that officials saw he was not putting his hands on Derrick Jones Jr. as they had the conversation.
They will go to the monitor once they discuss. Ed Malloy, Bill Kennedy, Scott Foster having a conversation at midcourt. And now Foster, the veteran, will come over and tell us what they're looking at here with the clock stopped at 8:28.
Play was stopped for a technical foul. That gives us the opportunity to go back and see if there was a hostile act during the play.
Now, Scott did say the technical foul was on, but I thought he pointed at Derrick Jones Jr.
Well, I believe if there is just a single technical foul, it would be on Derrick Jones Jr. He was the one who stopped and came back in the direction of Rudy Gobert as Rudy's going back down the floor. So it's almost though he was the initiator of the conflict. However, when they look at this replay, they're going to see how physical Rudy was when Derrick Jones tried to set that screen. Rudy throwing a shoulder into Derrick Jones' body. So be interesting to see what they come away with on this one.
That's how Doncic was able to get to the rim because those two guys were tied up. That actually did look like Gobert kind of attacked Derrick Jones. And Jones was retaliated, right? I mean, he was going for Derrick Jones. He was not playing Luka Doncic at all.
Well, you know, it's always the second guy. We know the rules. It's always the second guy that gets caught. But the benefit of the review will show Rudy was just as guilty as was. I would expect to see this be a double technical between the two guys. No one shoots any free throws. We both walk away from it.
But, Corey, it almost looked like Gobert was on offense, going to set a screen, and that Derrick Jones was the defender.
Yes.
But the roles were actually reversed. And for some reason, Gobert didn't pay any attention to Luka, who just drove right in the position he would have been in and got the easy layup.
Which is why I believe Rudy will get a technical foul on that possession as well. They will see that both guys were involved in that. Rudy may have been the initiator, but Derek Jones responding, I believe we'll see the double technical.
So Scott Foster and Ed Malloy have finished looking at it along with the replay center. They'll have a conversation, and then Scott will make the announcement. And 8:28 to go third quarter. Dallas leads the series 3-0 and leads the game 59-56. After the Luka Doncic basket, Luka's got 21 points. I think they're going to have double techs. Let's see.
After review, play was stopped for an altercation. A technical foul during that altercation was called on Jones. During live play, during our hostile act, we saw contact by Gobert that can only be penalized as a technical foul at this point. So it's a double technical foul, and it'll be a baseline throw-in.
So we were noticing that as well, and like you said, that's the benefit of replay, is you get to go back and watch it and see everything, and that's why they added the Gobert tech. No free throws in this situation for either team.
And too often we always see the guy that reacted being the one that gets the penalty, but I love the fact that the officials can go back and look at this and see why he reacted, why Derek Jones reacted the way he did, and giving both guys the technical foul, more importantly, no personal foul on Rudy Gobert, who's already playing with 3.
Minnesota ball. How about Karl Anthony Towns? Just 4 shot attempts here in Game 4. His team down 3, 8:15 to go in the third quarter. Conley with the ball in between the circles. Now moves to his right, fires to Towns, penetrates right of the lane, goes to the layup and scores again. Needs to attack more. He's done that twice and scored already both times.
That's the exact same action we saw in the first possession of this second half, where you got Cat going downhill, and if you help, he has the opportunity to throw it up to Rudy Gobert for the lob.
Dallas by 1. Kleba top of the key. Had a look, didn't take the shot. Throws to Doncic. Step back 3 left side. Comes up short. And rebound Towns. Minnesota looking to regain the lead, trailing 59-58 with 7:45 to play in the third. Edwards right side, fancy dribbling between the legs, working on Doncic. Now a skip to the left corner, touch pass Conley. Up top Towns, penetrates, middle of the lane, goes to the left hand, collides with a defender, offensive foul. Kleba draws the charge. Towns' 4th personal foul.
And that is what Maxi Kleba provides for the Dallas Mavericks. He's not a rim protector from the standpoint of blocking shots, but there are multiple ways to protect the rim. That's how Maxi Kleba does it. One of the reasons why he's so valuable to this Mavericks team.
And when there's that much time for the defender to react, if you're Towns, why are you driving that hard to the goal instead of pulling up?
Because no one works in the mid-range game, my friend.
Doncic 3, good. Irving 3, good from the right side, and Dallas is back up 4, 62-58 with 7:15 to go in the third quarter. Just the third basket for Irving. His first 3, he's got 9 points. Towns left baseline, goes up with a shot and scores plus a foul. A chance at a 3-point play for Karl Anthony Towns. Much more assertive offensively here in the third quarter.
But remember, we talked about Karl Anthony Towns in Game 2 posting up against Derek Jones Jr., against P.J. Washington, who are much smaller defenders, and fading away from the basket. This time you see him go with full force, and for all intents and purposes, Cat created that contact. However, when you try to hold him up from getting to the basket, he's going to get the call, and this time gets the bucket, the hoop, and the horn with the free throw to go with.
So Towns now with 12 points, 3-point play, 62-61 Mavericks, 7-minute mark, third quarter. Irving guarded by McDaniels near midcourt. Edwards is on Luka. Irving now dribbles to his left. Spins, gets to the foul line, shoots, in and out, and rebound by Towns. Minnesota ball. Edwards racing into the front court. Penetrates past Luka, goes to the right-hand layup, and scores off the window. And Minnesota back in front, 63-62.
The deceleration by Ant allowed him to be able to maneuver around defenders once he got into the painted area in comparison to getting offensive foul.
6.5 to go, third quarter. 3-pointer left side, Kleba. No good, and Towns with a rebound. Minnesota ball.
You got to imagine Maxi Kleba, you mentioned he passed up a 3 earlier. Probably not 100% sure with that shooting shoulder in his first game back.
Towns will try it left side, and it's good. A 3 for Karl Anthony Towns, who's really stepped up here in the second half, and an 8-0 run over the last minute for Minnesota.
Isn't it amazing to see what getting a layup or 2 does for you when you're shooting the 3 ball?
6 minutes to go, 66-62, Minnesota leads. Jones left side, clears a defender, misses a 10-footer on the left side. Another Towns rebound. Great start here for Minnesota in the third quarter, up by 4, 5:50 to go. Edwards on the far side. Keeps the bounce. Driving. Goes baseline. Backing down Jones. Shot clock at 8. Edwards attacking into the middle of the lane. Edwards stepping through. Traveling violation. And Minnesota's 12th giveaway. Dallas has 25 points off turnovers. And a timeout by Dallas.
We saw Mike Conley do that in the first half. No call. We've seen Kyrie Irving do it and got the call for it. There's a lot of respect for the 17-year vet when you've got two superstars in Ant Edwards and Kyrie Irving that can't get away with the same move.
So with 5:39 left in the third quarter, Minnesota leading Dallas 66-62, trying to stay alive in the series. We'll step away. You're listening to the
Jim Basquill in the studio. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Karl Anthony Towns, 4 field goals in this third quarter, including the 3-ball. He's up to 15 points, helping the Wolves to a 66-62 advantage. Third quarter, back to Dallas and Ashley Shamadi.
Thanks so much, Jim. You said Karl Anthony Towns with 10 points already in this third quarter. This is actually Cat's first double-digit scoring quarter since the first quarter of Game 2 versus Denver. Corey said it. It is incredible what seeing a layup go through does for you. I talked to Cat at shoot-around this morning. He told me, yeah, it is not an ideal time to have a shooting slump, especially from the three, something that I usually, that's part of my game, but said I'm confident, I put in the work, I'm not going to stray from that part of it. Head coach Chris Finch from Minnesota telling us we want Cat to be aggressive, but with confidence and bounce. He was rushing early in games 1 and 2. In game 3, he didn't have his form as much. So we're just confident he's going to bounce back, and that's what we're seeing so far this second half.
Yeah, Minnesota by 4. Towns has to be careful, though. 4 fouls, 15 points. Doncic with the ball, right side on the front court. On the baseline, bounce to Irving. Skip to the left side of Washington. Shot clock at 7. Washington in the paint, spins. Missed the push shot from 8 feet. Towns another rebound.
Zone defensively for the Wolves out of that timeout to change things up, and they'll take their chances with P.J. Washington beating them in the mid-range.
Towns with the ball at the top of the circle, and a foul is called as Gobert hits the deck. They call it on Josh Green of Dallas. That is team foul number 3 and Green's second personal. 5:07 to go in the third. Minnesota up 4 with the ball. They were just down 4 a couple minutes ago. Edwards will inbound, sideline left. Scott Foster hands him the basketball. Inbound to Conley. Conley with a right-hand dribble near midcourt, moves to the far side of the floor. Give to Towns, off a screen, leans in, and offensive foul on Towns. That's 5. Towns can't believe it, and a technical foul is called now.
And that's going to be on Chris Finch. He gave Scott Foster the wave away. He made sure that he told his scores table that it was Finch. It was not Mike Inori. However, this should give Minnesota enough time to be able to review this and see if they want to challenge this possession.
Although looking at the replay, Towns got the defender in the chin with his elbow. So even if they challenge it, the technical foul would stand. They could overturn the personal foul.
Here's the thing, though, Dave. Even if he hits him with his elbow,
criteria for a flagrant foul.
So they're looking to see if they should upgrade this to a flagrant foul because of the contact to the head or neck area.
But here's the concern. If he's staying within his shooting cylinder, then he is allowed to do that. That would be a foul, but it looks on the replay as though he does go outside of his way and jumps into P.J. Washington. So most likely that is going to be upgraded to a technical foul because he leans to his right to get the contact, and by getting that contact, does make contact with the elbow.
If it's upgraded to a flagrant, you've got the technical free throw, you'd have 2 free throws for the flagrant, and then you'd have possession. So potential swing here with 4:59 to go, and Dallas down 4. And again, just watching that, Corey, why, if you're Karl Anthony Towns, would you make that motion? Why would you put yourself in danger to get called for a foul there? He wasn't shooting. It wasn't a necessary move by Towns.
You're talking about on the pump fake and the shot.
Sticking the elbow and kind of going outside of his area to make contact.
He wanted to make sure that he was going to get the contact on the foul and give P.J. Washington a lot of credit for sticking his nose in. It gets that contact, which you never want, but it most likely will be a flagrant.
After review, the foul's been deemed common. It doesn't rise to the level of a flagrant foul.
Still, it's a technical, and most important if you're Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns, who's had a great quarter, has to sit down with 5 fouls. But again, just watching the replay, Towns was not going to shoot, and that's why I was making the point and asking the question about just why would you go outside your area that time when you're not going to shoot to initiate contact?
He was going to shoot it, but when he did not feel as though the contact was there because he sought out the contact, that's when he decided to pass it off. If he heard the whistle blow, he would have gotten that in the air for it to try to get the free throws. But regardless, leaning out of his area to get that contact was the mistake by Cat, who's been playing so well in this third quarter and is now hampered with those 5 fouls. And most likely we won't see much more of him in this third quarter. And he will be limited, honestly, in the fourth quarter as well.
But as the free throw is good on the technical from Kyrie Irving, we know Naz Reid has been terrific in the series. Just 2 points, though, so far in this game. So Dallas has possession because of the turnover on the offensive foul as Kyrie Irving takes a seat. It'll be Mavericks ball, down 3, 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, leading the series 3-0.
And once again, a zone defensively by Minnesota after the technical free throw. You got to stop on the last possession using the zone.
Shot clock at 9 with Doncic having possession on the right wing. Left-hand dribble between the legs. Now 4 to shoot. Penetrates into the paint. Kicks to the left corner. Washington puts it up and drills a 3 to tie it at 66 with 4:30 to go in the quarter.
And a 4-point possession for the Mavs after the technical free throw and the three-pointer to tie the game, as you mentioned.
And a foul at midcourt on Hardy trying to keep up with Conley. First basket for P.J. Washington tonight after starting the game 0 for 6 and 0 for 4 from 3. That is team foul number 4 on Dallas. No official team fouls on Minnesota. Offensive foul does not count as towards the team foul number for the Wolves. And 2 offensive fouls on Towns here in the quarter. Edwards backing down his man right elbow. Bounce to Reed on the left wing. Puts it on the deck. Drives, contact, finishes, and a foul as he banked it in, falling to the ground. A chance at a 3-point play for Reed.
And such a smart play by Naz Reid. Too often throughout this series, the Minnesota Timberwolves have not been able to take the climate on where the officials are. When you know they're going to call the game closer, that's the time to put your head down and find your way to the rim. More often than not that you're going to get a call at that time. Great job by Naz Reid taking advantage of that and getting a bucket and now opportunity for a 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
That's the 3rd foul. 15 foul. And Reed missed the free throw, rounded out. Rebound Gafford, 68-66. Minnesota by 2, 4 minutes to go, third quarter. Doncic, 21 points, 6 of 16 shooting. He's got the ball in the front court on the left side. He'll take it all the way and throw behind the back pass to Hardy at the foul line. His pass knocked away by Anderson. Now Edwards racing up the court, soars to the rim, and dunks it.
Nice finesse dunk by, and not the power variety that we've seen from him. It still counts for 2.
3.5 on the clock in the third. Minnesota back up 4, 70-66. Doncic near midcourt, doubled, bounced to Gafford, got stripped by Edwards, but a foul called on Edwards, and that is 4 on him. Let's see if the Wolves challenge that. They're looking at the tablet right now, and they're going to challenge.
Chris Finch giving the decision. He wants to challenge that one. And there's a certain amount of contact that you are allowed on the hand, especially as the ball is extended away from your body. Now, Jason Kidd and Anthony Edwards both having a conversation regarding that challenge. Loving to see Jay Kidd out talking with the smile.
The timeout's been called, a challenge ruling on the floor.
So we'll step away. 3:35 remaining. Third quarter, Minnesota 70, Dallas 66. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN.
Luka and Kyrie. Chris Carlin says they have a player that's second to none.
Last 5 games, from the floor, shooting 50%. 45% from 3. 30 of 34 from the free throw line. These are all numbers that are markedly better than what he did during the regular season, than what he did during his career, and then what he had done previously during the postseason. Not just about, also 3 triple-doubles in there, too, I might add. I think Luka Doncic is the best player in the league right now.
There you have it. The verdict is in on the challenge. Back to Dallas and Dave Pasch.
And they ruled that Anthony Edwards hit the left wrist of Gafford to pop the ball free, and so the ruling on the floor of a personal foul on Edwards is upheld by replay. That's 4 fouls on Edwards. It'll be Dallas ball. That's just the first team foul on Minnesota in the quarter. Wolves lead by 4.
And Dave, the terminology of using wrist is different because, of course, we've all heard hand is part of the ball. I personally thought it was hand, and I'm not sure if Scott Foster says hand, he's able to truly say that that was a foul. So he did determine that it was the wrist, whether it was actually the wrist or not.
Minnesota out of challenges now. Towns still on the bench. Edwards will stay in the game. Towns has 5 fouls. Doncic with the ball at the free throw line. Behind the back to Washington. Left corner Hardy. He'll launch and drill it. A 3 for Hardy. Dallas within a point, 70-69.
And another big swing in the favor of the Dallas Mavericks, which could have been a 2-point transition bucket for Anthony Edwards off of the steal, turns out to be a 3 for Jaden Hardy.
Edwards right side, backs away with the dribble. Shot clock at 8. Edwards moving now to the top of the circle. Swing, left side McDaniels 3. Nails it. And nice response by Minnesota. McDaniels hitting the triple, his second. In the front court, right wing is Hardy. Puts up another one. Misses the 3. Rebound Gafford. Shovels to Washington. Now Green, wide open left corner. He'll try it. Short. Gafford keeps it alive. Loose ball into the hands of McDaniels for Minnesota. Brings it up the court right to left with the Wolves up 4, 2.5 to go in the third.
And if you're Ant right there, you got to attack movement.
He does. Gets past him and a reverse layup off the mark. Blew another layup as Gafford gets the defensive rebound. 2:20 left. Dallas down 4. Doncic fouled by Anderson. Still outside 2 minutes, so that's just the second team foul. It'll be a side out as Irving's about to check back in the game. Anderson picking up the personal, his second. Irving and Doncic are combined 9 for 26 as we get closer to the fourth quarter, and the Mavericks in possession down 4, 73-69.
A number of great responses by the Timberwolves as we talked on air. If Minnesota can survive the foul trouble and the way that they've played and committing a number of immature plays to be able to win this game, it would be amazing.
Got a chance then, if they win, obviously, to go back home and then push it to 6. No team has ever come back to win a series after trailing 3-0 as Gobert gets called for the foul. And that is 4 on Gobert on the Hardy drive on the left side of the lane. The crowd goes nuts because they see the foul is on Gobert.
And Gobert has become the enemy here in Dallas. You don't get as much of a cheer, honestly, from Mavericks making buckets as you do when something goes wrong for Rudy Gobert.
Actually didn't look like a lot of contact. Gobert is going to go to the bench. Alexander Walker checks in. So you got McDaniels moving to the 4 with Naz Reid, the 2 bigs, so to speak, on the floor, though Anderson's got some length. But we haven't seen this lineup a lot for Minnesota. Shot clock at 7, Irving in between the rings. Left-hand dribble. Gets into the paint, goes to the left hand, missed the bank shot. Loose ball into the hands of Reid. Inside 2 minutes to go in the third. Minnesota up 4 with the ball. Edwards, top of the circle. Stops, pops, in and out on the 3. And rebound Washington. Front court left side, Hardy driving on Anderson. Oh, and he slams it on Anderson. Double clutching and stuffing.
You remember when I told you Hardy was caught between laying it up and dunking it in the first half? This time, there was no indecision on Jaden's part.
73-71. Minnesota, right corner of 3. Alexander Walker is good. Minnesota up 5, 76-71. Nearing a minute to play in the third quarter.
Another great response by the Wolves. Staying poised here in the third quarter.
Kleba straight away. Throws to Hardy on the left side. Now Irving on the far side at the hash mark. Kyrie just 3 for 11. Gets past Anderson into the lane. Stripped. Kleba, top of the circle, launches. Short on the 3. Offensive rebound, Irving. Shovels it to the right corner to Green. Inside a minute left. Pass out near midcourt. Knocked away. Alexander Walker gets on the floor to save it in the front court to Kyle Anderson. And his pass deflected, but Edwards there gets it. 45 seconds left in the third. Minnesota ball up 5, 76-71.
Winning play by Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's one we can mark down if they're able to win this game.
Edwards with 7 to shoot. Drives into the lane. Fires to the right wing. A 3 is on the way. Alexander Walker could not get it to fall. Hardy rebounds. 4-second difference between the game and shot clocks here at the end of the third with Dallas down 5, 76-71. Luke is on the bench getting some rest. Hardy's been really aggressive. Hardy at the top of the circle with 10 to shoot. Now on the switch, Anthony Edwards guarding Hardy. Tried to drive, goes behind the back, down the lane. Righty layup is good off the window with 8 seconds to go. 76-73, Minnesota. Edwards up the floor, hits across the line, moves to his right, fires an 18-footer and scores with 0.3 of a second left. Inbound to Irving, that ends the third quarter. Minnesota will take a 5-point lead to the final frame.
Dave, I believe this is the first time throughout this entire series that we can say that the Minnesota Timberwolves finished a quarter better than the Dallas Mavericks. The question becomes, now can they do the same in this fourth quarter to extend this series to 5 games and take it back home?
At the end of 3, Minnesota 78, Dallas 73. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Indeed.
I'm Clinton. In closeout games, has just 3 field goals tonight. Dallas has 22 off the bench, including 10 from Jaden Hardy. But the Wolves have 4 in double figures, led by Ant-Man's 23. They're up 5, start of the fourth quarter at 78-73 with their season on the line. Back to Dallas and Dave Pesch.
In games 1 and 2 of the series, the Mavs trailed entering the fourth quarter and won both games. They're looking to do it here in Game 4 and sweep Minnesota, but the Wolves, with a terrific defensive quarter, they defensively look much more like the team we've come to know, holding Dallas to 41% shooting overall, and 78-73 is the score.
And so this is the time where Kyrie Irving has taken over. In Game 2 and in Game 3, he has been the catalyst in the fourth quarter. Now he has the chance to do the same here. He will get special attention from the Wolves defensively.
Doncic with the ball in the front court. He's back out there. He was on the bench at the end of the third. Doncic driving. He's got 21 points. Stops at the foul line. Leans in. Kicks to the left corner. Hardy will put it up and drill it. Switching home a 3. Boy, has he been big off the bench. Hardy with 13 points.
But 10 of those 13 coming in the second half, has 7 in the third quarter alone, including that highlight level dunk.
The bench for Dallas keeping it in the game right now. Alexander Walker at the head of the key, throws to the left side, Conley. Now Alexander Walker, right wing, can't answer from three-point land. Rebound Doncic, 78-76, Minnesota leads. Doncic almost double dribble with Kyle Anderson right there.
He did double dribble. He got away with it.
I don't think the official was in position to see it. He was behind Luka. Jones right side, drives down the lane, leaves it underneath to Gafford, who slams it. A 5-0 start to the quarter for Dallas to tie the game. Quickly into the front court is Conley on the far side. A minute gone by here in the fourth. 78 all. Naz Reid straight on, driving, lane cut off, and a reach-in foul on Doncic. And that is the first team foul on Dallas in the fourth and the second personal on Luka.
I would say that Naz Reid really has been the only one of the Timberwolves that has understood the assignment. When you get Luka Doncic guarding you, you have to attack him, force a great offensive player to defend.
Conley with the ball on the inbound pass on the left side. Bounce to Gobert down the middle of the paint. And Gobert gets the easy layup. Minnesota back in front by 2.
No one there to tag Rudy Gobert on the screen and roll action to take him away from the easy bucket.
90 seconds gone by fourth quarter. Luka on the left side at the elbow. Doubled, so he swings it. Jones, right baseline, penetrates. His pass knocked away and stolen by Kyle Anderson. Minnesota with possession up to 80-78. Anderson lobs. Gobert deep catch on Doncic, and now a block by Gafford, but it looked like a goaltend. Let's see from Scott Foster. They're going to count the basket and a foul, a chance at a three-point play as Doncic picks up his third foul.
And another one of those responses by the Wolves. We've seen a number of them throughout this game where Dallas has made a run to tie the game or take a lead, but Minnesota has been able to respond, and if Rudy can knock down his free throw, they will push the lead back to 5, exactly where it was to start this fourth quarter.
Minnesota showing some mental fortitude here tonight, trying to avoid the sweep. Gobert's free throw is good. 83-78, 10-15 to go in the fourth quarter. Minnesota leading. Irving just 3 of 11, 1 of 4 from 3. Into the front court on the far side. Has a screen to his left, uses it, and pulls up for 3. Irving missed it. Rebound Edwards. 3 for 12 on the night for Kyrie Irving. Edwards left side, driving through the lane. Got knocked away as it was stripped by Jones at a turnover. Luka lob, Jones catching flush at the rim. 83-80 Minnesota.
Another turnover turning into easy points for the Dallas Mavericks, now up to 30 points off of turnovers in this game.
14 giveaways by Minnesota. 9.5 to go in the fourth. Edwards catching it at the free throw line, drives the paint, hangs, blocked. Gafford swatted it away. Doncic has it. Quickly ahead to Irving. Driving left side into the lane, puts it up and in with the right hand. 83-82 Minnesota. Timeout Wolves with 9:25 left.
Anthony Edwards talking with Bill Kennedy, wanting a foul on that last possession. But here in this fourth quarter, if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, you've got to put the complaining aside. When you go to the basket, go to finish. Don't go looking for a call if you want to find a way to extend your season.
Mavericks back within a point, trailing 83-82. 9:25 to play in the fourth. You're listening to the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out.
Gym basketball in the studio. Kyrie Irving, who just scored that bucket, has averaged 23 points a game and 14 potential series clinchers, all wins. The only other active players that have played that many series clinching wins and averaged at least 23 in those games. LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. Good company to be in. He has 12. Fourth field goal just scored. The Mavs have not led entering the fourth quarter in any of these first three wins. Now within one with 9:25 left. Back to Dallas and Dave Pasch.
And Karl Anthony Towns back in the game with 5 personal fouls. Minnesota leading by 1, 9:25 to go. Kyrie Irving just scoring. It's just his fourth field goal. He and Doncic have combined 10 of 29 and 4 of 12 from 3. Doncic does have 11 rebounds, 9 assists, one short of his 6th triple-double of this postseason. Minnesota ball in backcourt. Gobert will inbound. Conley, Gobert, Anderson, Edwards, and Towns. Irving, Gafford, Doncic, Washington, and Jones, the 5 starters for the Mavericks. Gobert with it at the top of the circle. Hands off for Conley, straight away, about 30 feet out. Throws it to the left side in Towns. Towns finds Gobert, middle of the lane, got caught in the air, and his shot is no good, but it's rebounded by Anderson on the near side. Anderson, a couple of key offensive rebounds tonight. Towns penetrates, right-hand layup, rejected, out of bounds. Gafford swatted it, his second block in the last few possessions. 4.6 to shoot here for Minnesota.
How valuable has Daniel Gafford been, not only in this game, but the changing of the defense of this Dallas Mavericks team, coming up with a huge block as Karl Anthony Towns gets ahead of steam headed to the rim.
Edwards will inbound, baseline left, lob for Towns, in the paint, goes up, blocked again by Gafford. Loose ball into the hands of Doncic. Mavs can regain the lead. Irving, right side, launches, missed the 3, punched out though to Luka. Doncic drives in the paint, stops, leans in, and fouled, missing the shot, but going to the line. Gobert committing his 5th foul, so both bigs, Towns and Gobert, with 5 personal fouls with 8:42 to go in the game.
And Daniel Gafford with 2 huge blocks as Minnesota is trying to add to their lead. Does the job defensively and now putting Dallas in position to where Luka can get the lead back for the Mavs at the free throw strike.
Doncic 6 of 6 at the line so far in the game. His first one is up and good. Mavericks are 15 of 16 as a team, and the game is tied at 83. Back and forth. 5-0 runs by both teams. That has been the story. Little mini runs by each team throughout, trading barbs here in Game 4.
And each team responding and not allowing the other to be able to create any type of separation.
Doncic missed the second free throw, out of bounds, baseline right. Last touch by Minnesota, although Scott Foster is going to come in here and they might change it. He wants Ed Malloy's viewpoint. The third official, Bill Kennedy, who is under the basket, called that out of bounds off of Minnesota. But now it's changed, and it will be Wolves basketball.
And Luka Doncic wanting Jason Kidd to challenge, but that would not be a good challenge, especially when the officials have already come together to determine who had the best look. You don't want to challenge that.
8.5 to go in the game. We're tied at 83 apiece in Game 4. Edwards on the left elbow, trying to get around a screen. Pull-up jumper, no good. Rebound, Doncic. Irving up the court, over the line. on the far side. Just 4 for 14 from the floor. Throws to Jones on the left side. Puts it on the deck. Bounce to Washington. Right corner three. And it's too strong. Backside rebound, Gobert. 8 minutes to go. Still tied at 3. They're tied at 83. Dallas still shooting right around 40% from the floor. Towns on the left wing at the three-point line. Driving left baseline. Angle cut off. Leans in, and they're going to say a foul is called, and then actually defensive 3 seconds. That's the second time that's happened on the Mavericks, so it'll be a one-shot technical situation.
And so an opportunity now for the Wolves to have a 3, possibly even 4-point possession. As we talked about these runs, each team battling back and forth with those 5-0 runs, and an opportunity for the Wolves to be able to add some separation here on this possession alone.
Towns will shoot the free throw, and he calmly drills it. He's got 16 points now. Minnesota back up 1. 7:55 to go. 84-83 Timberwolves. Edwards will inbound, sideline left with Derrick Jones Jr. watching. Every time Dallas has answered, as the inbound pass was stolen by Jones, Bill Kennedy blew the whistle, and I don't think he should have. It did not look like Jones was out of bounds when he intercepted the ball, so they may just say inadvertent whistle.
I believe.
Yep, you can hear Bill Kennedy saying inadvertent whistle, so it is Dallas ball because the steal had already taken place.
And I believe Bill Kennedy actually thought that it was a kick ball possession. I think he felt like when he blew the whistle that Derrick Jones Jr. had stuck his foot out to kick it, but he actually got that with his hand. We saw how big that was of a play earlier in the playoff.
Irving on the left side, now driving, middle of the lane, floats it up, missed the layup. Another miss for Irving right at the rim. Rebound Minnesota, 7.5 to go. Wolves up 1, 84-83. Edwards on the right wing, pull up Jay, banks it home from 18 feet. And again, every time Dallas looks like it's going to take the lead and grab control of the game, Minnesota hits a big shot. Doncic up top, straight on. Trailing by 3, into the lane. Throws to the left corner and Irving. Jab step. Looking to drive, spinning to the left elbow. Kleba at the top of the circle, now drives, lobs, left side, Washington. He'll put it up, and it's good. A 3, which ties the game at 86 at the 7-minute mark.
And this time it's 3-0 runs in comparison to the 5-0 runs, but we find ourselves right back in the same spot, our 12th tie of the game.
Edwards on the left. Throws to Conley. Swing right side Towns. Grabbed it at his shoelaces. Puts it on the floor. Lobs underneath. Gobert catches. Is mauled. He tried to put the shot up. We'll see if they rule that it was in the act. Ball never got to the rim. As Kleba picked up his 3rd foul. And the team's 3rd foul. It will be free throws for Gobert with 6:47 to go. Tonight's attendance, 20,477. Brought to you by Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Get great deals on the hottest tickets. Experience it live. Gobert on the night, 4 of 5 at the line. Minnesota's 14 of 19 as a team at the stripe. Gobert looking to retake the lead here for Minnesota. Shoots it from his chest, and it's in and out on the first try. Mavs fans are anxious. A lot of them are standing. They keep waiting for that 4th quarter run we've seen throughout this series and the entire playoffs. It hasn't happened yet. Doncic and Irving have not taken the game over yet.
And there's also chicken on the line for this free throw if Rudy misses it. So I'm sure that's another reason why they're standing. However, Rudy Gobert making that second free throw, no chicken, and yet no explosion from Kyrie or Luka.
So it is 87-86. Minnesota, 6.5 to go in the 4th quarter. Doncic only 5 points here in the second half. Throws to Washington right wing. He'll drive down the paint. Puts it up and in off the window. So Washington coming alive in the 4th. And Dallas in front, 88-87.
Similar to what we saw in Game 6 against Oklahoma City. P.J. Washington struggled with the majority of the game, but showed up big in the 4th along with Derrick Jones.
Towns drives, lost it. Gobert cleans it up with a slam. Luka Doncic, by the way, got the assist on the other end, so 10 assists. He has a triple-double. But Minnesota with the lead again, 89-88, midway through the 4th. And a foul as Doncic lost the ball near midcourt. But Kyle Anderson fouled him. Minnesota doesn't have a challenge. That is the second team foul on the Wolves.
Yeah, they wouldn't challenge that one. That was almost, it seemed as though Kyle Anderson was trying to foul Luka Doncic just to stop action for a second. Not in foul trouble, stopping the action, not allowing Luka to get off the screen.
Inbound to Gafford. Dribble handoff to Kyrie Irving on the left side. Irving explodes, pulls up from 12 feet, rattles it home. 90-89. The Dallas leads.
Great job by Kyrie going full speed, 0 to 100 real quick, but then stopping on a dime, pulling up, forcing Rudy Gobert to be off balance, not able to challenge the shot.
5.5 to go, fourth quarter. Straight away, 3 Towns puts it up and scores. Karl Anthony Towns 2 for 2 from deep, and Minnesota back in front by 2.
I think it's fair to say that Cat is back here in Game 4.
Irving on the left side. Looks to drive. Can't get past McDaniels. Now does. Missed the layup with the left hand off the glass and rebounded by Edwards. Minnesota ball, 5:20 to go, leading by 2, 92-90. Edwards on the right wing. Wants to isolate against Washington, but Gobert's not leaving his space and now gets out of there. Edwards drives, double. Throws to the left corner, Towns. He'll try another 3 and hit again. Back-to-back threes, and the lead back to 5 for the Wolves with 5 minutes to go.
We've seen Minnesota make some immature plays throughout this game, so let's give them credit for Anthony Edwards making the smart play, clearing Rudy Gobert out of this area, penetrating, finding a hot man. That would be Karl Anthony Towns in the corner, who knocks down his second 3 in a row.
5:04 to go in the fourth. Minnesota again showing a lot of toughness here in the fourth quarter, answering every Dallas run. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed.
Jim Basquill in studio heading into this Game 4. Karl Anthony Towns was 3 of 22 from beyond the arc, the worst 3-game span beyond that three-point stripe in his career. He was 1 of 8 from three-point range in the fourth quarter in this series. 0 points in the fourth quarter in the last 2 games. Tonight, different though. 3 of 3 from downtown, has 22 points. It's why the Wolves are up 5 with just over 5 left. Back to Dallas and Dave Pasch.
The back-to-back threes by Karl Anthony Towns, 2 of the bigger buckets in his playoff career, especially if Minnesota wins this game. They'll look back at this stretch here maybe, and Towns' response, because again, if you're the Wolves and you can pull this out, knowing you're going back home where you've lost 2 in a row, it'd be hard to imagine them losing 3 in a row at home. Maybe they win that one. Now the pressure in Game 6 is all on the Mavericks. Still 5:04 to go, but Minnesota staying above 50% shooting. 25 for Edwards, 22 for Towns, 22, 12, and 10 for Doncic to lead the way for Dallas. Doncic with the ball in backcourt, dribbling on Kyle Anderson, trying to get him to foul him. Gets it into the front court. Just 5 points, though, in the second half for Luka. He'll pull up for a long 3 from straight away, and it spins out. Rebound Gobert. And now a timeout by Minnesota. They want to run something here and try to get a good look to extend this lead past 5. We've been in this range here with Minnesota leading by 5 or Dallas by 1 here the last half or so.
If I had to guess, I believe that was a defensive possession. The timeout was called to get Karl Anthony Towns back on the floor. He was not in the game on that last defensive possession. Also, remember, he's playing with 5 fouls. But I would expect to see Chris Finch, Mike Noy both decide to go to some type of action to get Cat on the move and see if they can get him attacking downhill once again. But he has to be very careful not to pick up an offensive foul. We've seen him do that a couple times in this game.
So 2 timeouts left for Minnesota, 3 left for Dallas. Mavericks are trailing the Timberwolves 95-90. Dallas trying to sweep Minnesota and advance to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2011 when they won their first and only NBA championship. The other time they went to the finals was 2006, where they had a lead in that series, 2-0, had a lead at halftime of Game 3, lost. Miami came back to win the series. A young Dwayne Wade and a veteran Shaquille O'Neal with a story. If the Mavs win, this will be just their 3rd finals. Minnesota, which is in the conference finals for the first time in 20 years, trying to win its first game and stay alive.
Remember that 2016 coached by my former teammate Avery Johnson, and you got to say it that way whenever you're talking about Avery. You got to make sure you say it with the Louisiana and New Orleans twang that Avery speaks with.
Minnesota ball with Towns back on the floor. Both Towns and Gobert are out there, and each has 5 fouls. Edwards on the left wing. To Anderson now far side. Looking for a cutter. It's not there. Shot clock at 10. Left-hand dribble for Kyle Anderson. Now hits Towns back to the basket. Fires to Gobert. Left corner guarded by Doncic. Gobert to the lane with 3. Gobert with 1. Puts up the shot as he's fouled by Doncic. It's an air ball, but it'll go to the line. And that is the 4th foul on Doncic and the 4th team foul on Dallas with 4:23 to go.
But when you see that possession, you immediately go back to Luka Doncic pulling a chair, taking the basketball from Rudy Gobert, and looking at the bench, smiling as to say, why would you guys even try to post him against me? This time, Rudy Gobert forcing the foul against Luka and an opportunity to add to the lead at the free throw line.
Gobert 5 of 7. Minnesota 15 of 21 at the line. Gobert's got 13 points, 9 rebounds, 1 block. First free throw off the back iron, no.
I do believe Luka just looked over at Ed Malloy and simply said, ball don't lie.
That's not the only thing he has said to Ed Malloy tonight.
Well, I don't think the other things we can say over the air.
Gobert ready, shoots from the chest, missed it, and rebound by Jones for Dallas.
And free chicken.
The fans rise to their feet. They sense that the time is now for the Mavs if they're going to come back. Down 5, 4 minutes to go. Doncic in the paint. Lobs to Washington, who puts it on the floor, right baseline, hangs, missed the layup. A lot of missed layups for Dallas. Loose ball, and it's out of bounds baseline right. Going to stay with the Mavericks, but man, they're missing a ton of shots right at the rim.
And give Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns both a lot of credit for staying vertical, both playing in foul trouble, but staying vertical, not fouling on that shot attempt by P.J. Washington.
Inbound pass to Jones at the top of the key. Now Irving right wing. Trying to get free from McDaniels, who's done a good job on him. Kyrie does. Bounces down low, and what a play by Gafford. He was on the left side of the rim. He went underneath in midair and dunked it on the right side as he was about to get the dunk attempt blocked. Dallas back within 3.
You got to have some spring in your legs to make that play 44 minutes into this game action.
3.5 to go in the game. Edwards on the left side. 95-92 Wolves. Shot clock at 5. Edwards driving, middle of the lane, hangs, and his shot is no good. Dallas clears it. Mavs ball. Doncic in the backcourt, brings it across the timeline, uses a screen to his right, weaves back out up top, now launches a 3, and it's short again. Rebound Edwards. I wonder about the fatigue or the health of Doncic. He's been short on a lot of long balls. Edwards driving at the right elbow with 3 minutes to go, and the Wolves up 3. Edwards left-hand dribble. Again, drives. Leaves it for Towns. Left corner. He'll put it up and can another 3. Towns has been huge here in the 4th quarter.
And no one happier about that than his teammate Anthony Edwards, who got himself in trouble. Cat was there to bail him out and knock down a big 3.
98-92. Irving in the lane to the left corner, Washington. And the ball stripped by Edwards out of bounds off of Washington. Minnesota starting to sense it now. 2:36 to go, up 6, 98-92 with possession.
And a great defensive play by Anthony Edwards, who was frustrated about not getting a call on a previous possession, but did not stop playing, still doing the job defensively. Comes up with a huge deflection, forcing a turnover on P.J. Washington.
Edwards inbounding in backcourt to Conley. Huge possession defensively for Dallas, trailing by 6, 98-92. Conley, middle of the floor, goes to the right, gives up the dribble, throws to Gobert, hands for Towns on the left wing. Towns, his 3 blocked from behind by Washington. Dallas ball. Must-score situation here for the Mavs. Doncic gets into the paint, goes through the lane to the right corner, and Jones. His 3, no good. Backside rebound, Edwards. Dallas cannot make a shot down the stretch. And with 2 minutes to go, they're in trouble, trailing by 6. Minnesota trying to stay alive and return home for Game 5 Thursday night. Edwards off a screen, keeps the dribble, moves to his left. Shot clock at 5, 1:50 on the game clock. Edwards rocking it, now driving, spinning, leaning in, puts it up and banks it home as the shot clock expires.
Love the patience and the poise by Anthony Edwards on that last possession. The pump fake to get his defender in the air.
Doncic leans in, draws a foul on Towns. Missed the three, but he'll shoot three. Clock stopped, 1:38 to go. Towns is fouled out, but Minnesota still has an 8-point lead, 100-92.
So here's the thing with that possession. Karl-Anthony Towns goes straight up and down. Luka Doncic leans in to create the contact. Cat having the conversation right now with Scott Foster, as Scott Foster points to Mike Nori, basically telling him, get him off the floor. He doesn't want to hit him with a technical foul. However, that contact was created by Luka on that possession. Cat actually did jump, but he came right down in the same spot. It was Luka that invaded. When the cylinder doesn't happen in the NBA, of course, but it was Luka that invaded that cylinder.
And now Doncic has to make these. If Minnesota can close this out with Towns on the bench after the night he had as Luka's first free throw is good, that confidence for Towns and this Wolves team you would think would begin to rise going into Game 5 at home. 1:38 left, 100-93 Minnesota. Second foul shot on the way and good. One more coming for Doncic. Both teams will be in the bonus on the next foul. 24 points for Luka Doncic, but just 6 of 18 from the floor. Taking only 5 shots here in the second half. He got all 3 free throws. 100-95, and now you need to stop. Ball knocked out of bounds by Jones on the inbound pass, baseline right in the backcourt, so Minnesota will try it again. 1 second came off the shot clock. Edwards will bring it up the floor. Minute and a half to go. Minnesota 100, Dallas 95. Edwards driving right side, stops on the elbow, fires short, long rebound. Doncic looking to run. Luka stops at the 3-point line, guarded by Conley with a minute 15 to go, down 5. A gotta have it possession here for Dallas. Doncic bounces to Washington. Now Jones left baseline, spins, almost lost it. Washington puts up a 3 left side, and it's an air ball. He bricked it. Long rebound to Irving, into the lane, goes to the left hand, and around and down for Irving with a minute to go. Dallas back within 3, 100-97.
Amazing how comfortable Kyrie Irving is with that offhand, especially in clutch moments.
Minnesota with 50 seconds left and the lead in the front court to our left, leading 100-97. Edwards holding the ball at midcourt, watched by Derek Jones Jr. Shot clock at 7. Edwards moving right with a timer at 5. Left-hand dribble. Now at the top of the key. Right side, 18-footer on the way. It's good for Edwards with 39 seconds left. Minnesota up 5, 102-97, and a timeout by Jason Kidd.
Big bucket by Ant-Man to make it a 2-possession game. However, now this is where you'll see defensively most likely Chris Finch deciding to trap Luka like they did on the last possession, force him to get rid of the basketball, not allowing him to play one-on-one against a switch. You want to get the basketball out of his hands, stay home with Kyrie Irving, force someone else to have to make a bucket here with a 5-point lead.
Edwards now 1 assist shy of a triple-double, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Minnesota up 5, 38.8 seconds left. We now pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Western Conference Finals on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Indeed. Dave Pasch, Corey Alexander, Ashley Shamedy here in Dallas for Game 4 with the Wolves in front, 102-97, 38.8 seconds left. Dallas ball, must-score situation for the Mavs.
It absolutely is that, and it's going to be interesting to see. We watched Luka Doncic make a game winner in Game 2 over the Wolves when they got a switch. This time I'm most certain we will see Chris Finch trap Luka Doncic, force him to get rid of the basketball and stay home on the shooters on the 3. Even if they give up a 2, that does not hurt the Wolves as much because it's still a 3-point lead if they get an easy 2 on this possession.
Doncic and Irving both 6 of 18 from the floor. An off night for both players. Luka 3 of 9 from 3. Irving 1 for 6. Washington inbound, sideline right. Finds Irving at the top of the key with 35 seconds left. Around the screen, Irving is doubled. And he throws it away, intercepted by Kyle Anderson. And now Dallas has to foul with 28 seconds left. They don't. They got a foul. There's 23 seconds left. Look, Jason Kidd saying don't foul. Conley with the ball left side, and now the foul is called with 20.3 on the clock. Conley's going to go to the line. Minnesota in command, up 5.
That's the benefit of the trap. You can possibly force a great player like a Kyrie Irving, like a Luka Doncic, into an uncomfortable situation, and they end up getting the turnover off the trap. And it could be 2 free throws to make this a 3-possession game with Mike Conley at the free throw line, and an opportunity to help put some separation between these two teams down the stretch.
Conley's first free throw is good. It hits the front rim, backboard and in. 103-97. The next one might seal the deal here for the Wolves. A sweep in the East. Minnesota trying to avoid it in the West and head home Thursday to try to send the game back to Dallas in a Game 6. Conley missed it. Dallas ball, they got to hustle. 15 seconds left. Doncic over the line with 12 seconds. He's doubled, shoots a 3. It's good. And a foul. A 4-point chance for Luka Doncic with 13.2 seconds remaining. A prayer from about 35 feet is answered. 103-100, and a chance at a 4-point play.
But it's not surprising. This is Luka magic. We've seen this from him throughout his entire 6-year career in the NBA, which makes that free throw miss by Conley so important. And now no one here able to relax with Luka going to the free throw line, an opportunity for a 4-point play.
Although even if he makes it, they have to foul if they don't get a steal and hope that Minnesota misses a free throw. They still need some help. Doncic 10 of 11 at the line tonight, 28 points. His foul shot is off the front rim. No, he missed it. Rebound Gobert. And a timeout by Minnesota with 12.8 remaining. A big miss by Doncic. Dallas down 3.
Now, Dave, you tell me if you saw what I saw. I thought that free throw was a little slower than we see Luka's normal process, a little more deliberate, almost as though he aimed that one in comparison to shooting it, knowing how important that free throw was.
And now, if you don't get the steal, you got to foul and hope that Minnesota misses 2 with 12.8 seconds left. Well, Doncic and Irving have been rescuing Dallas throughout this postseason. It's so hard to sweep a team, even when you're up 3-0. I know history says something like 45% of those situations end in a sweep, but Minnesota shot the ball better throughout the night. They got great play from their stars, while the Dallas Stars have not scored the ball. They've not shot it well, and Minnesota's 12.8 away from going home for a Game 5.
And when you're Minnesota right now, of course, important, and you see the great call to be at the timeout to advance it so there's not a scenario where you're trying to inbound the basketball in the backcourt, similar to what we saw from Boston in Game 1, where they were able to get the deflection and the turnover, which allowed Jaylen Brown to knock down that game-tying 3 to send it into overtime. So the great call to advance the basketball, get it into the front court, and now you want to be able to find a way to secure the basketball, take the foul, and get to the free throw line. Hopefully make 2, but at least make 1 of the free throw attempts.
Anderson will inbound sideline left. He's holding the ball. He throws it middle of the court, caught by Reed, and he made the layup with the right hand with 11.3 seconds left.
Smart play by Reed. Take the basket, even if you get fouled. An opportunity for an and 1. And the nice find from Kyle Anderson, who you can see Chris Finch trusts so much, taking the basketball out of bounds. And Coach Finch and the staff out talking to Ed Malloy about the fact that they should have got a free throw on that one as well.
It was interesting, too, watching Kyle Anderson's reaction. He was upset with Jaden McDaniels, who actually started to run the play before Anderson even had the ball in his hands. So that's why it took a while for the ball to get inbounded. But Naz Reid flashed, Anderson found it.
But here's the kicker. Was that actually a distraction, or was that part of the play? Because, again, it's easy. I mean, that could have honestly been a part of it from Chris Finch to say, go early, see if we can get them paying attention to it, but you clear that backside, allowing Naz Reid to be able to catch and finish easily because Jaden McDaniel's no longer there. He's vacated.
Well, if that's the case, Anderson's a great actor. Now, he went to UCLA.
Hey, there you go. And they've got a great acting school, correct?
This is a great final act for Minnesota tonight after Dallas fought back a couple times down the stretch. Minnesota on the verge of surviving. Still 11.3 left. Dallas with possession down 5, and the Mavs are out of timeouts. Washington inbounding, sideline near side, finds Doncic, turn and shoot, missed the three on the right wing. Rebound Washington, Irving in the corner. Washington left wing with 5 seconds, his three, no good. Doncic got the rebound, he gets it blocked, and the game is over, and the Minnesota Timberwolves stay alive. Now Scott Foster saying there's maybe going to be some time on the clock, but not sure it matters at this point.
Because there was a whistle at the horn, we have to go for a clock malfunction to see if the ball hit out of bounds prior to the horn.
At this point, it doesn't matter. I mean, the 2-possession game. But Scott Foster going by the book here. Minnesota shows a lot of mental toughness tonight. Could have easily, with a young team, after losing the first 3 games and having the lead in the fourth quarter late and still losing, mailing it in. It's happened before, but what they did tonight was far from that.
Absolutely, because they survived so many self-inflicted
The ball
wounds.
hit out of bounds prior to the expiration of time. 2:10 to be put on the clock, and the ruling on the floor was blue ball.
So many self-inflicted wounds by the Minnesota Timberwolves throughout this game. To be able to survive that, you can only imagine how much confidence this win gives them going back home for a Game 5. And with the effort that we will see from them in that Game 5, and more importantly, the crowd that will show up at Target Center on Thursday night.
0.2 of a second left. Minnesota leading 105-100. Derek Jones Jr. will inbound. Just lobs it to Gafford, who scores. They'll wave it off, though, and the game ends. Minnesota 105, Dallas 100. Chris Finch, you could hear him through our microphones clapping his hands as he heads to the locker room following a huge win. And now Minnesota heads home. Can they win at home and put the pressure on the Mavs to close it out in Game 6? Game 5 will be Thursday night. We will be there in the Twin Cities.
We will be there, and Chris Finch sarcastically clapping his hands at Scott Foster, who he was in battle with the entire evening. But give these Minnesota Timberwolves a tremendous amount of credit for fighting through all adversity that was in front of them here to be able to continue this series and keep their season alive.
Let's check in with Ashley.
All right, Kat, backs against the wall on the brink of elimination against one of the best closing teams. You guys forced a Game 5. What did it take as a whole to win this one?
Great defense. We played some great defense around the whole night and made some shots. This is the way it needs to be. We know this team is great. The team that we're playing here in Dallas is really good. So we got to bring our best, and we expect to come out with a win.
Had 3 starters, including yourself, in foul trouble for a lot of that second half. What was the message to just survive this one, stay locked in, and just make sure to stay focused to finish this game?
I mean, just fight through adversity. We fought through adversity all year. So it should be no different if it's in the Western Conference Finals or it's a regular season game. We got to bring our A game. When it comes to execution, I talked about it. Our team has so much talent, and next man up. Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Kyle Anderson, all big-time players.
Kat, you have just remained confident throughout this series, knowing your shots would fall, and in the biggest moments they did. How did you continue to stay confident in yourself and in your team to make sure that you had a game like this tonight?
I mean, it's my teammates. I got to give a huge shout out to them. My teammates believe in me so much. They know the work I put in every single day into the gym. One hell of a time to have a shooting slump, but I just stay confident. I believe in the work I put in. So it's a hell of a night to get out of it. Feel really good with my shot. Glad to see the ball go through the hoop a few times more tonight. it's good to have that. Wish it would have happened a little earlier, but I'll take it in Game 4.
That last question for you. You guys have been in this situation before against Denver. What was the motto then, and what is the motto now as you head back home to Minnesota?
The next game's the most important game. It's Game 7. So we got to treat every game like Game 7. We got to be desperate. We got to show that desperation we showed in Game 7 in Denver every single time we step on this court now. There's no more margin for error for us. We know it. Our fans know it. Denver knows it. Dallas knows it as well. So we're going to have to bring our best. Our execution is going to have to be at an all-time high. Our defense is going to have to show itself at its highest level. Definitely, we're going to fight to the end.
Pat, thank you so much. We'll see you in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Guys.
New life for the Minnesota Timberwolves as they bounce back on several occasions tonight, including with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth when Dallas took the lead for the last time. Karl-Anthony Towns hit a couple of big threes. Momentum shifted back in favor of the Wolves. Their stars were better than the Dallas stars, pardon the pun, here when it mattered most.
That's absolutely what it was. The fourth quarter has belonged to the Dallas Mavericks for the first 3 games of this series. Tonight, it was about the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was about Cat stepping up. It was about Ant stepping up, making plays for himself, for his teammates, and these two guys getting the job done, but also give the Minnesota defense a tremendous amount of credit for the way they conducted themselves, particularly in the second half of this game, limiting Kyrie Irving attempts, and Luka Doncic as well, not able to have the same effect on this game.
13 of 39 combined shooting between Irving and Doncic, and 5 for 17 from three-point land. Meanwhile, Karl-Anthony Towns, 25 points on 13 shots, fouled out, yet Minnesota found a way to close it out, win the game, and send it back to the Twin Cities for Game 5 on Thursday night. Again, our final score here in Game 4, Minnesota 105, Dallas 100. Corey Alexander, Ashley Shamedy, producer Mike Martino, engineer Dave Sniff. I'm Dave Pash from Dallas. Now let's send it to Jim Baskell in the studio with the postgame show.